podcast.
Book of Numbers right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was a guy during the Sabbath was just collecting firewood. And
Yeah.
so he was caught collecting wood.
Mhm.
He was brought before Moses and Aaron, and Moses spoke to the Lord, and the Lord said, "Stone him for
Yeah.
working on the Sabbath." So I was like, "Wow, golly, man!" It was like very, like, these are the rules. This is the law. If you break it, like, that's it. So it's very, very cutthroat.
Do you think it's like the eye for an eye, that kind of way, like in terms of how the Jewish people live? Like if you did
Yeah,
this, then I'm coming after you.
yeah, I do. I mean, especially just like a lot of the things you and I have talked about, especially with this war in Israel right now. I think that's honestly, like, there's a thousand examples, but I think this one being so recent, present day, still ongoing. It's a perfect example that if you hurt us, we're gonna hurt you a thousand times worse.
Mhm.
And as you know, I'm very and it's not just towards Jews or Israel or anything like that, but I'm a big believer of, like, you you need, like, I'm trying to think of the right word, like, lead with power, especially on the world stage. It's you need to show the world, like, words to the enemy of the world, right? Whether it be, radical Islam, alt right, alt left, whatever it might be. I think that the only language any extremist group understands is strength, violence, power. You need to show them that if they hurt you, you're gonna hurt them worse. And it sucks, and I wish it wasn't like that. It's not saying that I like or enjoy that that's how it is, but just being from the military, being a cop, having all this experience, it really is the case that if your enemy even sees a little bit of weakness, a hole that they can kind of dig into, they're gonna exploit that, and it sucks. It's the worst.
But you think too that they have already given grace
Wh-
and mercy
which
to
one?
Israel, right?
Honestly, I
To
do.
some degree, you do.
I absolutely do. I think Israel could have been, to be honest with you. I think Israel should have been um, harder than they were.
In what way? How could
Uh,
they be more hard?
Well, so a lot of the things that I read and that I see, I've been to Israel countless times. Um, the apartheid accusation is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. There are Muslim mayors,
Mhm.
Muslim Supreme Court members, engineers, doctors, military officers, all Muslim. Um, the ethnic cleansing accusation against Israel. There were hundreds of thousands of Jews outside of Israel in the Middle East in 1950. Now, there's not even 1,000 throughout the entire Middle East outside of Israel. Um, in Gaza, how many Jews do you think live in Gaza? Zero, and they can't. They would be killed. There's a lot of times my mother, she grew up in Israel. I mean, there were places that Jews were not allowed to go, and if they did go, they would pay most likely with their lives. Now, that is, I'm not excusing, like the West Bank, right, Judea and
Mhm.
Samaria. Jews are being brutal to the Palestinians out there. I'm not
Oh,
negating
yeah.
that fact at all. I I have seen and read that it is not just the Jews that are violent. Um, the Palestinians will be violent with the Jews, and the Jews will respond. The Jews will be violent with the Palestinians. The Palestinians respond. It's this problem that the people that are involved, they simply don't want to solve it because they hate the other side so much. It's it sucks. It's garbage. I could not imagine living my life that way,
Mhm.
constantly at war,
Yeah.
with somebody. Being in Israel, I remember back in the day when I was younger, we went to my grandmother's. She had an apartment right next to the sea. The Mediterranean Sea is beautiful, beautiful place. I remember the alarms, the rocket alarms going off, um, and I didn't know what that was at the time. And my mother grabbed me, and we had a safe room. Went in that safe room, and one of the rockets fell so close to our apartment that the windows exploded.
Oh, wow.
And I was confused, like, why? Why? What just happened? Um, and that's the thing, it's been going on forever, and the the problem is, like I said, it's just like you got a whole bunch of these people that have this ongoing war. They hate this side, hates that side hates this side, and it's a solution that I don't think will ever solve itself. Unfortunately, I do know that the Israelis have extended the olive branch, so to say,
Mhm.
more so than the Arabs have. There's been a dozen UN resolutions that Israel has agreed to, as far as the two-state
So
solution.
Gaza's not coming to the table?
No, no, they haven't. The PLO used to be in charge. Hamas. There was quote unquote an election
Mhm.
after Israel completely pulled out of Gaza, and they
Yeah.
did that in the pursuit of peace.
Yeah.
And there was quote unquote an election. Hamas, quote unquote, won the election, and they held power ever since. If you look at per capita, the amount of um, global international aid to a country,
Mhm.
Gaza has received almost the most. If you look at per capita, not total,
Okay.
per
I mean,
capita.
Ukraine's winning
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah. Israel has, like, don't get me wrong. Israel's received an outrageous amount of money
Yeah.
from the United States, but if you look at international aid per capita, that little strip, the
Mhm.
Gaza Strip, has received an outrageous amount. Unfortunately, the people that it goes to, it doesn't go to the people, it goes to their government, and the government is Hamas. And Hamas has used it to build this infrastructure. They built tunnels under the border, under the fence, into a kibbutz, a community, just a random community.
Mhm.
Um, Thank God.
Underground.
Underground. It's like a
Underground
tunnel.
community.
No, 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 no. They would build a tunnel under
Okay.
the fence into Israel, into a
Okay.
kibbutz,
Gotcha.
into a community, and they do this for reasons like we saw on October 7th. That is their entire goal. If you look at Hamas, their military branch, and the IDF, no logical person is going to think that Hamas can go toe to toe with the Israeli military. It's just ridiculous. It is
Right.
so it makes, and Hamas isn't stupid. Their leadership, they're not dumb. They know that they cannot go toe to toe with the IDF. So one needs to ask the question, what was the goal? And the goal was civilian casualties. On the Palestinian side, they wanted to provoke Israel to a point where they knew Israel was gonna attack in a very forceful and brutal way.
The only thing that would do would probably provoke the world to come to their aid to make a global war.
Well, I don't even think it was the global war, is global sympathy. Hamas knows that if enough civilians are killed, the world is going to say, okay, stop. And
Mhm.
you really got to look, all right, so what happens if Israel does stop?
Yeah.
Um, we're just going to do this again in 10 years. And so, because if you look from 1948, which was not when Israel was created, that is a ridiculous claim. But if you look at 1948, when the UN gave Israel back to the Israelis, the
Mhm.
Jews, from the British. It wasn't given to the Jews by the Palestinians. They didn't control it. It was a British mandate. Um, ever since then, there was one war after another. And if you look at, and I'm not saying who started it. We're not 10 years old, but if you look at who used military force first in every single aspect, literally 100% of the time, it was Arabs attacking the Jews, attacking the Israelis. The Israelis just happen to be stronger. When it comes to casualty counts, civilian casualty counts, the only reason Israel has less civilian casualties on their side is simply because they have the power to defend themselves. That's it.
Mhm.
It's not due to the lack of trying by the Muslim countries. If Hamas could literally go from southern Israel all the way to the northern part of Israel, if they could do it, do you think they wouldn't? Of course they would. The difference is Israel could they could take over most of the region, most of the Middle East. They have the technology, they have the ambition, they have everything that they would need to take over most of the region. The only reason Israel has stayed the size of the state of Connecticut is because they have chosen not to expand. Everybody calls them occupiers. Everybody calls them um, what's the word? Conquistadors, right? People that
Mhm.
just want to conquer this land. If they wanted to do that,
And they've never really done it. I
never.
mean, for, you know,
Yeah,
3,000 years.
exactly. So yeah, so Israel used to be bigger. If you look at the Bible, which I'm getting into,
Mhm.
there are parts of the Bible where you know
But they never
God
advanced outside of a certain region, the
exactly
region that God gave them.
exactly yeah
So they were like, "No, this is what God gave us. We're good.
yeah.
This is
If
plenty."
if, if you look at from 1948 to 1967 to 1972
Mhm.
to 1976, the Israelis they've always gotten more land because they were attacked and the people attacking them
Sure.
lost.
Yeah.
And then Israel, any time a war breaks out, the winner should get something. They
That's
they
like the normal thing of war, though. You get claims to that land
exactly, and
once it's
it's
over.
it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere that has ever existed in the world, the winners of the war they get spoils, right? They get
Mhm.
spoils of that war. Israel has taken land and then in the pursuit of peace will give it back. And so that's why specifically there's so many examples why Israel should not leave Gaza. They should not. They tried that in 2005 and here we are.
Mhm.
October 7th in 2023 happened and now the world is demanding Israel give back Gaza. Why? So we can do this again in 10 years? No. Something needs to change. Israel should, in my opinion, Israel should keep that land because they won the war.
Mm.
That is now theirs. If they give it back to the Palestinians, it's because they chose to. But I don't think the world has the right to force Israel to give back this land, especially if Hamas is still going to be the governing factor. The Palestinians at this point, I don't think they deserve that land back. The Palestinians like they're more so if you want to look at lineage, they're more so Jordanian refugees. They're Jordanians. The Palestinians in Gaza have been refugees for the past 5 decades.
So what's the next phase, though?
Well, I honestly, who knows? I'm just a random guy.
Mm.
As far as thinking that far ahead, I have no idea. It's not up to me.
Yeah.
But I don't think if the Palestinians want to stay there, fine. But you're going to assimilate and you're gonna stop hurting us. Like, that's what I think needs to happen. Hamas cannot exist. Hezbollah cannot exist. Islamic Jihad cannot exist. And it's not because they're Muslim. It's because they're radical Muslim. There is no, me being in the military, I got to go to the Middle East. I went downrange, I deployed. And let me tell you something, man. There is no negotiating with them. They are on a mission, jihad, and that is to kill the infidel in the name of their God. There's no convincing them otherwise. It's it's difficult to explain their like and I'm not a professional on Muslim culture, Muslim religion, nothing like that, but I got to see radical Islam firsthand
Mhm.
and it's evil I have never seen before. That makes me sad that it exists. And again, I'm not talking about Muslims. I'm talking about radical Muslims. There is a huge difference. There's been plenty of Muslims that I got to meet in the Middle East that were wonderful people that hate the Taliban just as much as we do. Um,
So what were some of those radical things that you saw?
well, what Hamas is doing in Gaza,
Mhm.
radical Islam does everywhere. They use their civilians, specifically women and children, to fight the infidel because they know the Israelis, uh, as many mistakes as they have made, are more moral than
Okay.
than 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 the radicals are. The United States soldier is more moral than they are, and they know that when we see a woman or a child, we are going to be far less likely to actually stop that threat. When I went downrange, I had a good buddy of mine. His first kill was a 14-year-old kid, and it tore him up. It tore me up. It's the first time I was 21. I was 21 years old when I saw that, and it was it changed me forever. And the thing is if we could have talked to that 14-year-old, get him to not try to kill us, we would have all preferred that. As a kid, as a 14-year-old kid, barely had any hair on his chest, and he's got an AK-47, armed to the teeth, a bunch of stick grenades, and his job, his whole mission was to kill us. And the reason there's no talking to radical Islamists, no matter how old they are, is because the jihad, right, the war against the infidel, is the ultimate good. It gets them into heaven forever. And that's another problem, is that they view death differently than we do. The whole world sees dead kids, dead women, dead old men in Gaza, and they cry. And so do I. It's an awful, awful thing. And I wish to God it never happened. But to them, they see it differently. To them, it's an honor. And that's the thing. There was a pretty cool documentary. I'm trying to think of the name. It was he's a Western journalist, and he said that when his notion or idea changed on who's the bad guy, Hamas or Israel, he knows without a doubt it's Hamas, and that Israel is the moral compass in this war. And he said that because back in 2002, a woman, she tried to go through a checkpoint to get into Israel, and she had a bomb strapped to her, and she wanted to blow it up. But at the checkpoint, the Israelis noticed some things. They
Mhm.
noticed that she's nervous, she's sweating. They noticed some bulk thing on her chest, and so they locked it down. They locked her into this checkpoint, and she ended up showing that she had a bomb, and she tried to detonate it, and it just didn't go off. Um, so after, so it didn't go off at that time. Right before the Israelis kind of approached, to try to detain her or whatever that they do, the bomb partially went off and it burned her really badly.
So it
And
just set her on fire.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So she was significantly injured, right? Just significantly wounded, burned everywhere. So what did the Israelis do? This lady that tried to kill them, they took her to the hospital and they treated her. She did like 2 years, I think, in an Israeli prison, and then they let her back into Gaza. And this Western journalist, they talked to her and they asked her if she had a chance to do it again, would she? And without hesitation, absolutely, absolutely, she would. And it's funny, some of the radical Islamists in Gaza approached her to do it again, and they gave her three different options for targets. One was a bus, one was a cafe, and the other one was the hospital that treated her. And she chose the hospital that treated her. That is why it's very, very difficult to make peace. And again, I'm not saying it's all of the Muslims, but the reality is especially in that strip in Gaza, an overwhelming majority of the people that live there, they might not be the one to strap the vest onto their body and go out and try to kill Israelis, but they certainly aren't opposed to the idea.
Sure.
It's very, very difficult to well, not very difficult. It's impossible. You cannot make peace with such a large amount of people that want to kill you. Again, the difference here between Gaza or the Palestinians and Israel is that Israel has the power to take over that entire area in a day. They could do it in a day. Um, Israel chooses not to. If Hamas had the opportunity, they would kill everybody in Israel. If they had the opportunity to do it, it would be October 7th in the entire country. You got over 1 million Arabs that live in Israel. It's a country of 9 million people. Not a single one of those Arabs took up arms against Israel on October 7th. Not one. The opposite. They joined the IDF to fight for Israel. And there's been plenty of people that'll go ask, why? Why are you doing this? And they say, because Israel treats me well. It's my home. It's my country. I want to fight for Israel. And they're Muslims.
So it's not religion. That's not the problem. You're saying it's
Yeah, I don't think it's religion. It's ideology is the problem. It's the culture. From a very, very young age, they're teaching their kids, and I've seen it firsthand. They're teaching their children to not only it's not just the hate that they're teaching to hate the infidel. It's that God wants you to fight this infidel,
Mhm.
and that if you go and fight the jihad and you die, but you died fighting that infidel. You're going to heaven. And that is the ultimate goal. They view death differently than you and I do. It's for them, it's not just the beginning. It's the beginning of paradise
Right.
for an eternity. And for you and I, it's you know, you get saved. You try to live a good life through the Lord, through Jesus. For them, it's if I kill the infidel, I'm going to paradise.
Yeah.
And for us, you look at the 10 commandments, which we have on the wall, thou shalt not murder. It's written in our laws. Don't kill unless you absolutely have to, because you know better than I do in the Bible. And I'm not comfortable enough to speak on the Bible because I just don't know enough about it. But there's a time and place for everything, including war, including death and killing. Killing doesn't make you a murderer. Murdering somebody makes you a murderer. And I think there's a very big difference between murder and killing. You
I
kill,
think so.
yeah, you kill innocents, you're a murderer. But if you kill somebody that's trying to hurt you, trying to hurt your family, at that point, it's not the fact you're not killing this person because you want to. You're doing it because it's absolutely necessary in a last resort.
Mhm.
That's the difference. Where we're talking about radical Islam, they will walk into a daycare full of kids and just ignite a bomb. It's
Yeah.
happened before. It's
Mhm.
happened dozens of times in Israel. And again, I want to make it clear. I'm not saying Israel doesn't have blood on their hands. They do. It's a disgusting thing. War. It's the worst thing people can do to each other. And I think it should stay awful because that's the deterrent from resorting to war. But unfortunately, when you're fighting a group of people where their ideology is, war is the only way. War is going to get me into paradise. Killing as many people. If I walk into a movie theater and just light it up, hey, as long as I'm killing the infidel, I'm going to heaven. It's
Mhm.
like, come on, how are you supposed to have peace with that?
Yeah.
It's impossible, and that's the impossible task that Israel has been presented with, and the whole world has turned on them for it. If if the cartels in Mexico invaded the United States through Mexico or Arizona, whatever, and they killed the equivalent of what Hamas did in Israel on October 7th, Israel's a country of 9 million people. We're a country of 370 million. If the proportion would be the same, they would kill 35,000 Americans in one day. And I'm talking like face to face, they look at their victims in the eyes and just shoot them in the head while laughing. Because that's what happened on October 7th. It was just utter brutality. If my government, the United States government, did anything less than glass 200 miles into Mexico, I'd have a problem with it. If my government acted any less severe than the Israeli government did, I would have a problem with it. I would think that just the utter brutality, it's not just just not in discriminate bombing, but if the cartels did what they did, right, did what Hamas did, and then ran back into Mexico and just hide amongst civilians, like what choice at that point do we
See,
have?
so kind of like 2001, you're like, that makes sense
I
when we
mean,
we acted the way we did.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like everybody wants to paint this picture as like, oh, it's an easy solution. No, it's not. The enemy that we have, it's civilian casualties is their goal.
Mhm.
Like it's the same thing with Hamas to Israel. Do you think the Taliban thought that they could go toe to toe with the United States military? No. Their goal wasn't to fight the United States military. That was not their goal. They wanted the US military to come into Iraq, to come into Afghanistan and kill as many people as possible. So that way they can say, "See, the United States, they're demons, they're brutal." It's like, well, no. You do something terrible to us and then you run back to your civilians. There's so many examples I can tell you about in Gaza, Khan Yunis, there was a refugee camp that Israel dropped a bomb on. The world was up in arms about it. Israel dropped a bomb literally right in the middle of this refugee camp. Until Hamas was the one that came out and said, why would you bomb this camp? We had our commander and a dozen soldiers right in the middle. Like Hamas came out and said it. And it's
Yeah.
it's it's almost like they're taunting Israel at that point because they know the world's not going to care.
I mean, the whole world right now still, at least social media is saying that it's genocide.
Yeah, and it's not.
I mean, as
If
far as I can see, that there is even the conservatives are like, "This is bad. This is really
it,
bad."
it is bad, but that's the thing. You got a whole bunch of young conservatives that have never fought a war a day in their lives. They've never had the risk of a bomb dropping on their heads while they're in the classroom. They've never experienced war. They just see a whole bunch of awful pictures and videos on the internet, and then they freak out.
Mm.
But that's not reality. Everybody wants to talk about privilege in the United States. Living here is the privilege. Everybody wants to talk about, this is a human right, that's a human right. Education was the thing, right? Medicine was a human right. Well, it's not. It's a privilege we get to enjoy in this privileged country. But if you go to almost anywhere else in the world, they run the risk of they run the risk of you know when I walk to go to school or whatever, is a rocket gonna fall on me? Am I even gonna make it? Like that's an awful way to live. And so um they see these videos, they see these pictures, and that's the goal. That Hamas wants the world to see this. That was the whole
Right, because
point.
there's no context behind the
Yeah,
picture.
exactly. That's the whole point. And another thing I want to talk about, a big reason that the world is calling it genocide is that they're saying that Israel is not letting food and medicine and all that stuff in. Okay, I've seen a lot of these videos too. Any video that's gone viral that everybody else has seen, I found it very interesting. When somebody is starving, you can see it. Like you see it in their skin, you see it in their eyes, you see it in their hair, you see it in their demeanor. Every single person that I have seen, quote unquote, starving in Gaza, their skin looks great, their hair looks great, they're running around like they got all this energy in the world.
Mm.
And then Hamas, before they released these hostages, they showed a couple of hostages in the tunnel. Um, the Israeli that they were showing looked like a ghost. His skin was completely pale. His eyes looked awful. His hair was
Yeah.
unhealthy, and he was moving lethargically like a sloth. That man is starving. And that's I mean, you look at the Jews in the Holocaust, those pictures. I mean, skin and bones, and you can see it. You see it in their skin, their demeanor,
That is
everything.
interesting. I never thought about it because, yeah, they were saying they hadn't eaten for months,
Yeah.
but everybody looked healthy.
Everybody looked fine. They looked like you and me.
Yeah,
And that's the thing. And I'm not saying that nobody is starving in
sure.
Gaza. There's people
Oh, yeah.
starving in the United
There were
States.
problems. There
Yeah.
there is problems.
Yeah. But Israel's not starving these people. If there is people in Gaza starving, it's most likely Hamas taking the trucks. I mean, not even the IDF, the Palestinians, they raided one of the warehouses of Hamas after Hamas retreated, and they found a warehouse full of baby formula. Are you kidding me? Um, Hamas would take it. Hamas would take that stuff on purpose, starve their own people on purpose, so the world can get a visual. Oh my gosh, Israel's starving our people. Like that was the whole goal. Was visual. They knew they couldn't go toe to toe with the IDF, but they knew that all they needed was world sympathy. That was
Yeah.
it. All these countries, Canada, the UK, Norway, Spain, like all these countries recognizing Palestine as a sovereign nation at this point. If you want to recognize Palestine as a sovereign nation, fine. Do you? You're your own country. If that's what you guys want to do, I think you're dumb, but do you? But to do it right now is insane to me. The government in Gaza is still Hamas, and if you're going to recognize a place as their own state, you're recognizing their government as well. They have quite literally they legitimized Hamas. And so they're showing all we need. They're showing the world is showing Hamas or any radical Islamist group. All we need to do is kill 1,200 Israelis, kidnap 250 more. Uh, Israel's going to retaliate in a really brutal way, and the world's eventually going to give us what we want. Like,
Yeah.
like you just gave Hamas statehood. They just got more from the world than they have since 1948. That was crazy to me that the world decided to do that right now. If you want to do it after the war, after the killing has stopped, after Hamas is no longer a thing, fine. You can get in your little discussions and do that. But doing that right now, you have just guaranteed every future war.
Mm.
Hamas and every radical Islamist group out there sees All we need to do is commit a Holocaust against whether it be the Jews or somebody else, and if that country retaliates in a very awful way,
But that's like with everything, it's creating that type of narrative, you know? Like with the Epstein files, with the war. I mean, if you can paint it a certain way, people are gonna believe it no matter what.
absolutely, absolutely. I think people are very moldable.
Yeah.
It's they're very you can convince them of just about anything.
Mhm.
And people got a problem with not doing their own research nowadays. They won't even read an article; they'll read a headline, and that's
Yeah,
as far
yeah,
as they go.
exactly. Yeah,
They have no
yeah.
idea, and a lot of these media outlets, they know that. They'll put, like, a snippet at the bottom
Mhm.
of the article. Like, I've read articles, man, I'm like, "Wow, this is crazy," and then at the bottom of the article in the fine print, they say, "None of this is confirmed." It's like, "What?"
Yeah. All
Then
opinion.
yeah, then what are you writing an
This is how
article
I
for?
feel.
Yeah, it's crazy, and as long as they put that in there somewhere,
Mhm.
then liability, it's not on them, it's not on their shoulders.
Yeah.
That is crazy to me. A lot I mean, so Benjamin Netanyahu said it, I think, perfectly. Whatever anybody's opinions of him are, like, he said that the world hates us for no reason, and he's right. If you look at world intelligence agencies, right, around the world, they agree that about half of the, casualties in Gaza were Hamas. Half. Statistically, that is incredible. Even given especially given how, dense the
Mhm.
Gaza Strip is, the fact that half of the 72,000 that have been killed in Gaza have been militants, is an incredible statistic. If you look at Fallujah for us,
Okay. Yeah.
when we invaded Iraq in 2003, I think Fallujah was 2004, um, the push for Fallujah. So we killed about 4,000 insurgents. Over 10,000 civilians were killed, so far more than half. The world didn't call us genocidal maniacs.
I mean, we didn't call ourselves
Yeah,
genocidal
the
maniacs,
West.
but
I
I feel
mean,
like
way before we invaded Iraq or Afghanistan, the Middle East was calling the West
yeah,
genocidal
that's how
maniacs.
they
Exactly.
that's our
So
perception, yeah, or their perception of us.
yeah, but my point is nobody came after the
The
United
UN
States.
was not upset.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nobody came after the United States like they are, coming for Israel. If you and the world's been against Israel for a very long time. If you look at the amount of sanctions Israel had from the UN before October 7th, Israel was still one of the most sanctioned countries in the world. More than Russia, more than North Korea, more than Saudi Arabia, more than Iran.
Mhm.
And we're talking like human rights violations. And it's like, how in the world? And it's because the UN has been run by Middle Eastern countries for a long time. So it's the every time the UN says something, I take it with a grain of salt because it was most likely just some personal thing that they've been doing, that they have been doing, and that they're not going to stop doing. Anybody that calls the UN like, oh, they're a legitimate organization, yeah, sure, on paper, but when they started using the word genocide, and it's because somebody with a PhD said you just use the word genocide, and that word just stuck. Oh, this is a good narrative we could push against Israel. This is a good idea. This will
Mhm.
destroy them, and that was the whole point.
Yeah.
So this whole push by the UN or whatever, all these other countries can do whatever they want. Israel has killed less Muslims than almost every Middle Eastern country has, and I'm talking in recent history, in the last 10 years. Uh, so if Israel is the one perpetrating the killing, then great, we'll call it a genocide. But other than that, other stuff's not even going to make the media. So um, I think that in and of itself is very interesting, and I think people really need to start looking into that.
Mhm. So, let me ask you, we're brothers with, not the same mother, but we're brothers. Um, you were born in Israel,
Mhm.
yeah? And how long were you there?
Oh, not long at all.
Not long.
Yeah, not long at
So
all.
give me background of why kinda like why you care. I mean, it's 'cause it matters to you. Like, all of this does
Yeah,
matter to you.
big time. Yeah, big
Yeah.
time. Um, I've told Jacqueline, my wife, if I wasn't married, if we didn't have kids, stuff like that,
Mhm.
I would have went and fought with the idea, 100%. And it's because I truly believe in the country of Israel. I do. I believe in the idea of it. I believe in what they stand for, And I truly believe that they are fighting as morally as they possibly can given the circumstances.
Mhm.
Uh, they're not out there just slaughtering people. If
Yeah.
they were, this war wouldn't have lasted a day. The only reason this war has lasted for as long as it has was because Hamas took hostages and refused to give them back.
Mm.
And the whole world was telling Israel to stop before they had their hostages. That is the most insane notion of
Yeah.
this entire thing. Nobody was demanding anything from Hamas. Everybody was demanding things from Israel because they know Israel's the more moral people. They know that they can actually talk to them. Um, it means a lot to me just because I believe in what they stand for. I know that if Israel had the mission, if that was their goal, was to just slaughter Palestinians or anybody, any Muslim country in the Middle East, they could.
Mm.
They absolutely would. But not only are they not, they're not even expanding their borders. They have given back so much land to the Arabs in the pursuit of peace. The UN, not Israel, the UN has made a dozen resolutions, two-state resolutions that Israel has agreed to. The Arabs don't agree to it. For the Palestinians or for Hamas or whoever, it's all or nothing. If you don't give us everything we want, we're going to continue fighting you. I mean, Israel truly is between a rock and a hard place. So the only ones that aren't allowed to perpetrate a war, you know, war is not supposed to be pretty. It's supposed to be awful.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea behind war. All this destruction you see in Gaza, yeah, that's what war looks like. Again, the only reason Israel has less civilian casualties on their side is not due to a lack of trying by the other side. It's just the fact that Israel has the capabilities to defend their people. Like that's the entire reason. That's it. If the Middle East could devour Israel, they would. You know, in the 7-day war, it was 7 Muslim countries. Um, sorry, man.
Oh, no, you're good.
Teddy's all up in your space.
No, it's making sure the computer is
Yeah,
not gonna die on us.
yeah. But you know, 7 Muslim majority countries invaded Israel at the same time on one of the most holiest days of the year for Israel. Which, if you look at all these wars that start, that's always what happens.
Mhm.
The Islamic uh, countries will attack Israel on the holiest of days every time. And Israel pushed all 7 countries in 7 days almost into the sea. And the those countries that attacked Israel first were begging Israel to stop. And what did Israel do? They stopped. And they even gave back land that they took in the pursuit of peace. And then another war happened. Another war
Yeah.
happened. And then October 7th happened. It's like the world wants Israel to do exactly what they've done for the last 80 years. That is the dumbest thing I think if it was up, I think Israel should keep Gaza. Like, keep Gaza.
I think that's what they're planning on doing.
I think they should. Simply for the safety of their people. Anybody can talk about agenda, and I'm sure there's an agenda there. If you get into politics anywhere, in my opinion, you're selling your soul. Like, there is dirty stuff happening under the rug. There's no
There's
moral
not a good one?
there's no moral government anywhere.
There's
Anywhere.
there's not a good politician?
No.
Not one?
0%. I'm
What's
MAGA.
that what's
I'm
that guy, the eye patch guy? Everybody thought he was
Oh,
cool.
Dan Crenshaw?
Dan Crenshaw.
Yeah, dude.
Everybody thought that guy was
I
cool.
loved him, man. I was a fan,
I
and
know.
now I think he's a rhino. I was a fan.
Yeah.
If you get into politics, you had to sell your soul. You are corrupt. You are going to make dirty money. It's just the
Mhm.
way it is, and it sucks. I wish it wasn't that way, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, governments everywhere. I'm sure Israel has their agenda, but it also does make sense that they need to have an enemy further away. Like, it's just logical.
Mhm.
If you know, living in Texas, if the cartels were shooting rockets at my house every day, I would demand my government fight back and keep it from ever happening
Yeah.
again. The only way to do that is to get rid of Gaza. Like, that's where the majority of these rockets are coming from. And Gaza's on a body of water, the Mediterranean Sea, I believe, right? The Mediterranean
I
Sea.
think so. I think you're right.
I mean, we're talking countless shipments of rockets coming from Iran. Just, it's crazy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy. And so the only way, logically, whatever the agenda might be, logically, the only way for these rockets to stop falling on Israel is to make their enemy get further away. And it sucks. Yeah, I wish it wasn't like that. But again, it's not Israel that has painted this very difficult picture. Before October 7th, rockets were falling on Israel daily,
Yeah.
daily. Maybe not 1,000, but rockets were being shot at Israel daily. And the only reason things weren't blowing up in Israel was because they had the Iron Dome. I mean, that was it. That was it. That was the only reason. That was the only reason Israel was able to hold themselves back, was because they had a way to defend themselves without leveling an entire area.
Did they build that, or did we help
No,
build that?
it's a U.S. weapon.
That's so crazy.
It's a U.S.
Oh, that's
weapon.
so crazy.
Yeah, the U.S. arms it. I mean,
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
we fund that whole thing. And to be honest with
Best
you,
buds.
oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome, man. It's a really good tool. But I think the United States should, as far as military, I think they should help Israel. Israel, it's not. So it's a lot different from Ukraine. Israel, what we're doing with Ukraine, right?
I remember you
Is
telling me that we need to be best friends.
Yeah, it's not just that we're funding Israel. Israel's giving us a lot of stuff too.
Mhm.
When it comes to Ukraine, I get it. Ukraine was invaded. They're fighting Russia, all
Mhm.
that stuff. But at the beginning, I'm not so sure now. I think Donald Trump, he made a deal with Zelensky, and now they're giving us precious metals. There's like things we're getting in return. But at the beginning, for the first 2.5, 3 years of that war, I mean, the whole world, including the United States, was just giving Ukraine stuff with nothing being given back in return.
Yeah.
Israel is the tip of the spear for medical breakthroughs, for weapons technology, for intelligence against our enemies, all these things. And Israel is sharing all of this stuff with us. There's a being prior military, there's a lot of weapons we use that are Israeli. They're not American.
Is that IDF type stuff?
Yeah. The IDF is the tip of the spear as far as military technology, tactics. A lot of the stuff, tactics we use, they're Israeli tactics, and they save a lot of American lives when they go either downrange in combat, or me as a police officer. We use a lot of the tactics that the Israelis have made up, and let me tell you something, man, it's effective.
We're talking Krav Maga?
Either Krav Maga, you got like, as far as clearing a corner, there's a specific way to do it. If you come to a T intersection inside of a structure, there's a
Yeah.
way of doing it. And I'm telling you right now, man, like if you look at the military tactics
Mm.
when we first invaded Iraq, the U.S. military was not trained on urban warfare. We were all flat. The only people that were getting trained on urban warfare was like special forces, Navy SEALs,
Right.
those guys. But like regular infantry for the Marine Corps, for the Army, whatever it might be, they were not trained on how to clear a structure. They
Mhm.
were just trained on just tearing it up, blowing it up, or
Yeah.
whatever, and moving on to the next. Urban warfare wasn't a thing that we were very good at,
Does
because we're just
IDF train our
big time.
okay.
A lot of the tactics we use, I dare say, and there's no data for me to back this up, but I
Sure.
dare say most of the tactics that we use was probably Israeli made. Because if you look at it, they've been fighting urban warfare for a very long time.
What I mean is, like, are they coming and showing up at the battlefield training our military?
Well, it'd be more so, here in the States or something like
Okay,
that.
so they are coming to us and
Yeah,
let me walk you through how to do
yeah,
this. Okay.
yeah,
That's pretty
absolutely.
cool.
I can't really talk on whether the United States and Israel, as far as troops on the ground fighting together,
Mm.
right next to each other. I'm sure it's happened.
Yeah.
But I couldn't really talk on it just because I couldn't give any examples or anything like that. But yeah, man, I mean, they would come to our facilities, train our guys on stuff. We would train them on certain stuff.
Mhm.
There's a relationship there. There's give and take. And so anybody that says, "Well, I don't want to be friends with Israel," well, I hope you don't like your cell phone, because the chip in smartphones was Israeli. It's Israeli made. The Israelis were the ones that made it.
What's the
The
chip?
like the technology in smartphones.
Really?
Yeah, look it
That's
up, man.
Israeli.
Yeah, look it up.
Okay.
A
It's
lot
not
of the
Chinese.
I'm sure it was made in China,
Yeah.
right? But if you look at like medical breakthroughs, a lot of that stuff is Israeli.
Mm.
Scientific breakthroughs. I mean, look at how many Nobel prizes for science, or whatever the case is, was given to Israelis, dude.
Mhm.
It's crazy.
That's crazy.
Um, the amount of breakthroughs that Israel creates, whether it be in medicine, technology, tactics, whatever, they share a lot of that stuff with United States. a lot of the medical stuff. I mean, talk to doctors because again, I'm sure they can speak on it more than I could. But a lot of these breakthroughs are studied and you know uh, made better in Israel. So to be friends with them, I think is very beneficial. I'm America first. But as far as America first, it doesn't mean we just keep all of our
Yeah,
money for
Israel's a
ourselves.
close second.
Yeah, there like I think that, if I care about America, right? American lives, my country. I love my
Yeah.
country through and through. And I think that being friends with Israel is very beneficial to the United States.
Mhm.
I am America first, and to be America first, I want the best for it. And I think
There
to
has to be trade.
exactly,
The world will not keep moving if there's not
exactly,
trade. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So you're APD now. You
Mhm.
moved from military to APD, and what's that been like? What's been one of the highlights, I guess, of the last, what, 7 years now?
Yeah, 7 years on the street. It's been a ride, man.
Yeah.
uh, a lot of good days, some bad days. And the interesting thing is that the good days are really good, and the bad days are really bad. It's not like, I went to work and I'm an investor. My numbers were bad. I get to like a good day in being a police officer in a major city. A good day is getting to drag somebody out of a burning building, saving their life, or doing CPR on somebody and they survive. Um, somebody getting shot and you doing medical on them, giving them enough time for the ambulance to get there, getting to them to the hospital, and then when you go to the hospital, just curious, hey, did they survive?
Yeah.
And not only did they survive, like they're awake and they're talking, and a doctor tells you that you're the reason. It's
Mhm.
cool, man. It's like
Yeah.
it's such a good feeling. It's a
Yeah.
huge
And you've had
dopamine.
a bunch of those
Yeah,
experiences.
a bunch. Yeah, I've been very fortunate. But then like the bad days are super super bad. I've had
Yeah.
some awful experiences that'll stay with me forever.
What was
Um,
there was a one guy, you saved his life, you tourniquet, right? And then you saw him on the street, like, months later?
oh my gosh, man. Yeah, that was actually the first major shooting that I worked. I was a rookie at the time. It was it was in a Denny's parking lot.
Mhm.
If anybody's in Austin listening to this, St. John's and 35, they'll know exactly what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. And yeah, it came out as an assist agency hotshot at first. There was a security guard that was working. He was on the radio, freaking out, calling for police assistance. So the agency assist hotshot it's a different agency working this, and a hotshot means like lights and sirens. You need to get there right now.
Yeah.
And it changed while I was still going. It changed from that to what we call a shoot stab hotshot, where somebody got shot, somebody got stabbed. Um, like once again, lights and sirens. You got to get there right now. And so myself and a good friend of mine, Adam Rosa, we were the first ones. We were actually like hanging out together. We happened to be close and the
Having
call
a
came out.
donut?
Yeah, right. Yeah. At freaking 2 in the morning, right? And so we were the first to get there. And the worst thing about being a cop, a patrol cop, is that everything is unknown when you pull up. You don't know who's who. You don't know who the bad
Mhm.
guy is. You don't know who the victim is. You don't know what's going on. And so that's why when cops pull up to a situation like that, their guns are drawn and they're pointing it at everybody because 100% of the time it's a chaotic scene. Somebody just got shot, and everybody's screaming. And so we get there, we both draw our weapons, and there's a dozen people in this parking lot. And again, everybody's screaming, everybody's yelling, it's chaos. And I'm like, damn, who is who?
Mhm.
And this guy was walking up to me with his hands up. And so I'm drawn down on him. I know he's got his hands up, so that's why I didn't shoot for anybody, you know. But then my buddy Rosa, he's like, "Korody, get over here!" Starts yelling, and then I see a gun on the ground, and so I know he's got somebody either at gunpoint or whatever the case was. So I secure the gun, I secure the firearm that was on the ground, and then I hear there's a female screaming bloody murder inside of this red Dodge Challenger, and I see she's got at least one gunshot wound to her leg, and so Rosa's got who we believe is the shooter at gunpoint. And so we get him in custody. And then I run back over to that female. And yeah, so I see she's got one gunshot wound to the leg. So I throw on a tourniquet. stop the bleeding, and then we do what we call a bath assessment, BATH. It stands for bleeding, airway, tension pneumothorax, and hypothermia. That's what you want to check for in that order, because in that order is things that can kill you. So bleeding, you get shot in the right place, you'll die in a minute and a half if you bleed out. So we do what we call a bath assessment. So I took my shears, my clothing scissors. I started cutting off her clothes because we want to get with you what we call tactically naked. Because a lot of times, it's not like the movies where everybody's just bleeding significantly.
Yeah.
A lot of times
Sprinkler.
they're not. Yeah, right. A lot of times they're not bleeding at all, and so people might miss critical injuries.
Why does it happen like that? Why?
No clue, man. I mean, there's a lot of parts in the body. Like I'm not a doctor or anything, right? But
Yeah.
I'm sure
But
there's
you've
a lot of
saved quite a bit of people, so
yeah,
you've seen it.
I've gotten good at field medicine, doing stuff in the field for
Yeah.
people. But there's just unless you hit something critical like an artery or something like that, you're not bleeding very much. And so we want to cut these clothes off to see the hole. Oh, there's another gunshot wound, right?
Yeah.
Which is exactly what happened.
Mm.
I cut her pants off because that's where the initial injury was, right? She got shot in the leg by a 45. So it's a decent sized hole.
Yeah.
And so I cut that pant leg off, didn't see any other holes, and then I cut the other one. And I was like, "Oh crap, she got shot through the leg and the bullet went into her other leg."
Well, that's why she's screaming.
Exactly, right? And so her femur in her I think it was her right leg exploded. Like her femur was just gone.
Ugh.
And so I tourniqueted her other leg. And while we're doing so other officers start showing up, right? And we got to make sure the scene is safe for EMS to come in and take this victim to the hospital. As I'm working on this girl, another guy comes up to me saying, "Hey, there's a guy down in the 7-Eleven right next door." And I was like, "Oh gosh." And so I got on the radio, telling, "Hey, I was just told somebody else is down in the 7-Eleven. Can somebody go check?" And yep, there's a black male on the ground, and it's crazy because this was like minutes into this call. By this point,
Yeah.
I checked later. No one called 911 in the 7-Eleven. We found this person strictly because of the guy that walked up to me. No one called
That's
nobody
not
called
normal.
911. It was crazy. So, anyways, we find another guy. He's a black male, down in the 7-Eleven. He was shot 3 times in the back. And so
Mm.
one of my buddies, his name's Javier Rodriguez. He puts chest seals on this guy's back. They end up taking him to the hospital. He survives. Both the female and the guy survived. It was really cool. And then about a month after this whole thing, I was doing like an operation with our vice unit. And there was a really shady hotel in the area that I worked. It was called the Roadway Inn at the time. It's something else now, but pretty much everybody coming out of that hotel had warrants, guns. They're felon in possession of
It's a
firearms,
good
stuff like
bust.
yeah. It's a good pretty much any car you stop
Yeah.
out of that hotel, it's a good lick.
Yes.
And so this car comes out of the shady looking car comes out of the roadway, and I noticed immediately they're swerving bad, and so I was like, oh, they might be drunk, might be high, and they're driving. So I initiated a traffic stop on them, and the guy's got his hands out the window as I'm walking up. Which okay, cool, I appreciate that. Um, so I walk up to the window, and it's a black male driving. He's the only one in the car, and I tell him, hey, my name's Officer Korody. The reason you stopped today is you were swerving, this and that, just doing my regular approach.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, I got a bum tire in the front of the car. That's why I'm swerving. And I was like, he asked, can I show it to you? And I was like, yeah, sure. He steps out of the car and he keeps his hands up. And I'm like, hey, man, you can put your hands down. You're good. And he's like, nah, no way. Because, right, the typical crap, he's a black male. I'm a white cop. He doesn't want me to kill him for no reason, right? Because that's the crap he believes in. And so I was like, all right, cool. If you want, keep your hands up. I don't care. And so we walked to the front of the car, and yeah, no kidding, he's got a donut tire, which is almost flat. so
Yeah.
so him swerving, I was like, okay, that makes
And
sense.
yeah.
And then I just wanted to start talking to the guy, like, why are you so afraid of me? And he told me that the police shot him a month ago. And I was like, no kidding, man. I'm sorry to hear that. Uh, they shot you here in Austin? And he's like, yeah, right down the road in the Denny's parking lot. And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, this is starting to sound familiar. And I asked him, I was like, hey man, so the girl I treated, she's a Hispanic female. I asked him, I was like, hey man, are you dating a Hispanic girl? And he's like, yeah, like how'd you know that? I was like, is her name, this? And he's like, yeah, how'd you know that? And dude, I got so mad. I was like, a cop didn't shoot you in the back. A cop saved your life. The shooter, who we ended up getting in custody, was another black male. The whole thing started over some verbal argument, and then one of the guys pulled a gun and started shooting.
Yeah.
He told me that a cop shot him in the back 3 times. I got so mad, and, I asked him before I even said anything, before I told him I was there, I was like, "How many of your friends have you told this to?" And he said what like, he was confused at first. He's like, "Oh, I've told a person or 2." And I'm like, "Dude, on camera, on my body, I went off on the guy." I was like, "You mother effer, are you kidding me?" I was like, "You and I both know a black male shot you in the back and a cop saved your life." I just lost it, and he was like you see the look on his face
Yeah.
like, "Oh, no."
Yeah.
And he asked me, he's like, "Were you there?" And I was like, "Yeah, I was there. I saved your girlfriend's life." And then he was like, "Oh, man, I'm sorry, bro. I didn't mean to." And I was like, "What do you mean you didn't mean to?"
Wow.
So and that kind of stuff, it's not the first time. It's not the last time. It won't be the last
No.
time.
No.
I've learned through experience that a lot of the stuff that people hate police for is it's just not true. Simply put, it's just not true.
I mean, this is a sensitive question, and we could probably cut it out later if it gets
No,
too
no, man.
crazy.
I'm
But no, I'm
I'm
just
open book.
like so. Well, I mean, we'll see. Uh, do you think that part of like them acting that way is cultural? Like they're kind of like how you talked about, Taliban being raised to be Taliban, but they're raised to think that way.
Yeah. So I do believe there's a cultural aspect there. Everybody, if you look, so everybody talks about diversity right now. You take a look at a lunchroom, for example, right? Most of the time, you're gonna have the white kids sitting with the white kids, black kids sitting with black kids, Hispanics, Asians, whatever. And it's not because anybody's racist. It's just human nature. We like similar.
Sure, it's common ground. Yeah.
Exactly, right? And so
Preface:
everybody,
we both have really good black friends.
yeah, yeah, 100%. 100%. Some of the best people I know are
Yeah,
black,
my
right?
best friend's black.
Yeah.
Just
And
FYI.
so I think that there is a cultural aspect there.
Mm.
White people are raised a certain
Yeah,
way,
yeah, yeah,
black people are raised away, Hispanic people are raised away, and anybody can call it racist if they want. It's just the reality. Like everybody's got their own culture, which I think is great.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I do think that there is a cultural thing going on, and I think it's shifting, to be honest with you. And I think the best example that I can think of is the 2016 presidential election and then the
Okay.
2024
Yeah,
presidential election. So if you look at 2016, Donald Trump, the Republican, got 4%, 4% of the black vote. In 2024, this most recent presidential election, he got like 24% or something like that. It was far far
yeah.
higher.
I
Um,
still don't think that 2016 that doesn't make sense.
Nothing about it.
4%.
Oh no,
No,
yeah,
that is yeah.
that definitely doesn't make sense. But um,
That's a
I
big jump.
it is huge, huge. Um, but I think it's because a lot of people are realizing that that like the culture is just shifting. Um, whether black people realize that the way we've been doing things, the people we've been voting for, the way we've been doing it the last 50 years since the civil rights movement is just not working. And so I do believe there's a cultural aspect to it, as far as like the way they view police, the way black people specifically, because that's the topic nowadays, the way black people view police. I do believe that there's a cultural thing to take into account, how they're raised, the things that their family might be telling them, their friends might be telling them.
But it's gotten
Um,
better though,
it's
right?
gotten it's gotten much
Even
better.
since
The
you've been
the
in.
so I was around during the 2020 riots, and I can tell you right now, it's a 180. It's a
Yeah.
180. The majority of the people that'll yell "f the police" or "you're slaughtering black people" or whatever, it's mostly from white liberals
Yeah.
that comes to or comes from. Um, I've spoken to a lot of black residents that live in, lack of a better word, in like the ghetto of Austin, right? Which the ghetto of Austin is a lot better than the ghetto in other cities, right? But we
Yes.
do have areas that are pretty shady. And I'll talk to a lot of the residents that live out there, and they're like, no, come to our neighborhood. Like we need you guys. Like we want you here. While white liberals are telling me that we're over policing
Yeah.
the black
Stay
community.
out of this.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's funny, if you look at the numbers, policing, for the most part, and every year it'll shift a little bit. But annually, for the most part, policing is about 93% reactive, which means If the police show up, it's because somebody called 911 requesting police.
Yeah, you're not going around provoking people.
Exactly. And so if the police are in black neighborhoods the majority of the time, it's because most likely it's because we were called. We
Yeah.
were called there. It's not like I'm sitting outside of, some apartment hoping that I can just hem up somebody because of the way they look.
Yeah.
Nobody understands that that is a lot of paperwork for me,
Uh-huh.
and it paints me in a way where people can show up to my house. I don't want that. Like, if that's what's going on, I can assure you I'm not doing it on purpose, and neither is anybody I know.
Yeah.
Um,
So APD for the most part is pretty good guys.
I think the Austin Police Department is phenomenal.
Mhm.
As far as training goes, we're very
Tip
well
of the
trained.
spear, your words.
Tip of the spear, man.
Yeah.
We're trained in a very I think we're years in front of other departments at our size. Um, Major cities. I met a couple of FBI guys. They're on the FBI QRF, or Quick Reaction Force. It's like the FBI SWAT team,
Mhm.
and they operate in the Central Texas area. And I got to meet a couple of them, and it was cool because they said they're implementing a lot of the tactics that the Austin Police CAS team uses. CAS stands for Counter Assault Strike Team. I'm on the CAS team, and they're implementing a lot of their tactics because they're just good. It's a good school to go to.
Mhm.
And for the FBI, for guys that are on the FBI QRF to tell me that, like, yeah, the only logical explanation is we are good at what we do. We're good at training, and as far as like de-escalation, uh, as far as communication with the public, I think we're light years in front of that too. Um, they train us very well on how we can de-escalate, and a lot of times people need to understand. Like, people think cops have this magic wand that we can de-escalate any situation we want, and that if we don't de-escalate it, it's simply because we wanted it to go sideways. Like, dude, no, we don't want it to go sideways. That is a lot of problems that brings us. So last year, as you know, I got into a shooting, um, shot and killed somebody. And the Travis County DA, district attorney, he's very anti-police. So people that don't know, district attorneys are in every single county, everywhere, and they're elected officials. The community elects them. Our district attorney, his name's Jose Garza. He literally ran his campaign promise was to indict as many police officers as possible, not felons, not suspects or gang members or people shooting up their communities. His
Mhm.
promise
Yeah.
was to indict as many police officers as possible. So when I shot and killed somebody, um, dude, we're talking the most stress in the world because I'm like, oh my gosh, like, now I'm gonna get indicted. He's going to present my stuff to a grand
Yeah.
jury in such a way that they're going to indict me. Now I'm going to be going to trial for murder or manslaughter or what he likes to do, deadly conduct, which is insane to me. But I'm going to go to a trial for some sort of felony. I mean, dude, it was stressful.
But you never went to trial.
Never went to trial. They cleared me in record time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just me. It was several officers that were involved in that shooting. It happened September 10th of last year, and we were cleared in record time. The DA's office cleared us of any wrongdoing on December 24th. So just a few months.
And that's not normal.
No, no, it usually goes on for years. He will keep you on the string for years, and because he knows it ruins your life.
Because you can't go back and work, right? During this time?
So it depends. The department could uh put you in like another capacity. If you are charged criminally, then no, they need to get rid of you. So yeah, like, we're a single income household. If I don't work, that's a problem. And so, when something like that, something that significant happens at work, it's a huge stressor,
Mhm,
huge,
mhm.
especially in this county because the political atmosphere, the legal atmosphere, they don't support police the way they should. Especially the DA. Like I said, he's actively targeting police. During my incident, my critical incident, um, the guy was standing in front of a business, but the business had windows. And this was at, like, I don't know, 11:30 at night, something like that.
Yeah.
So normally businesses are empty at that time.
Mhm.
But everything you say on the radio is recorded. And
Yeah.
it's crazy because I'm dealing with this guy with a gun. And the thing I'm thinking about the most is covering my butt legally, not making it out of this thing unscathed or alive or whatever. It's like, oh my god, what can I do to keep myself or these guys out of prison? And so I asked multiple times, "Are we sure this business is empty?" Because the
Mhm.
person that owns the business,
Yeah.
was the one that was on the phone, the one that called 911. This is for a burglary. They were the ones that called 911 and they were still on the line. So I asked my dispatcher, "Hey, ask her again." I did this like 3 or 4 times. Make sure that ask her again, "Is this business empty? Are we sure?" Because I knew that if a single round missed the suspect and went into this window, the DA could probably charge us with deadly conduct because the mental culpability for deadly conduct is reckless. That
Yeah.
we were reckless when we fired our weapons. And
Mhm.
it's like, if I ask enough, we weren't reckless. We knew, it was intentional. And so I made sure, like, I'm not thinking about, oh my gosh, this guy might shoot at us, which
D
eventually he did.
but does that affect you in being sharp? Like, when you're
Yes.
als
Oh,
like, trying to think about that?
yeah, absolutely, man. I'm thinking about the wrong stuff.
Yeah.
I should be thinking about, hey, this guy in front of me, 15 yards in front of me, 20 yards in front of me, he's got a gun. He's the problem. I
Yeah.
need to focus on the problem. Instead, I'm focusing on oh my gosh, how am I going to keep myself out of prison?
Yeah.
Which police officers should think about that stuff. But in the middle of that kind of problem, it should not be what's in your mind.
Does the military and police training conflict in any way?
Yeah,
In turn
all day
yeah.
long,
Yeah.
all day
Yeah.
long. A biggest the biggest the best example I can give you for that
Mm.
is suppressive fire.
Okay.
That simple tactic. So in the military, suppressive fire means, hey, every single person with a machine gun, shoot in that direction.
Yeah, yeah.
Make the bad guys get the bad guys to keep their heads down. That's it. In policing, we call it effective fire,
Mhm.
which is, hey, you're not going to spray bullets in this direction. The goal is to get the bad guy to keep his head down, but it'll be like one shot every couple of seconds, right? And it's gonna be a well aimed shot, a well placed shot. I'm not just gonna shoot in this direction. I have reason to believe the bad guy is right there, and that's where I'm shooting. And the thing is, with this district attorney, he can still get you for deadly conduct on that. It's very, very difficult. He makes sure that a police officer's safety is it's like the last priority. Now, we have a priority of life scale where innocence is the priority, and it should be, but the suspect's well-being is the last. It goes innocence,
Mhm.
victims, police, suspect, and then evidence. That's our priority of life scale. That's our priorities as far as safety or well-being goes.
Yeah.
Us as police officers, we are the well-being of innocent people. That's first priority. I need to put myself in harm's way if an innocent person is at risk. I need to do everything that I can to either keep that person alive or get them out of harm's way, and I need to put myself at risk to do that. Now, for a logical person, police officers are next, EMS, firefighters, first responders, we're next, and then it comes a suspect. But that's not how it is for the DA. A police officer's life is the last priority.
But it's this DA, or is it
This,
almost
yeah,
yeah.
this specific DA, and not to make it political. Normally, it's in a more liberal area where DAs look for they look to get cops any way that they can. It's not just in Austin. Austin is just something that I experienced personally.
Yeah.
Um,
Because you have had friends that are no longer on the force.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yep. And so yesterday, Officer Christopher Taylor, he had an incident. I won't get too far into it,
Yeah, yeah.
but he ended up getting into a shooting years ago, and it was for somebody that was going through a mental health crisis with a knife. Taylor and his partner took an elevator up to the fourth floor, which is reasonable. And when the elevator doors opened, the suspect was right there. And so now you got nowhere to go.
Yeah, you're stuck.
And so you have to deal with this problem head on. You can't back up. You can't buy yourself time. Action needs to happen, whatever it
Mhm.
might be. Now, this guy specifically came at the two officers with the knife. Now he's going through a mental health crisis, right? So he's not thinking clearly. My job is not to be critically injured or killed just so I can attempt to like try to reason with a person that's going through some sort of mental health crisis. That's not what we're here for. Now that guy charged at two officers, armed officers, and the officers shot and killed him. Taylor, and this is the part that's crazy. So the district attorney of Austin, Texas, Jose Garza, indicted both officers for not murder, not manslaughter, but deadly conduct. Now, deadly conduct is you commit what we call serious bodily injury or death to somebody else in a reckless manner,
Mhm.
right? Now, that so for the DA to charge deadly conduct and not murder, he's basically saying the use of deadly force was reasonable. You killed this person reasonably,
Yeah.
but the way you killed them, the use of your firearm was not reasonable, which is crazy. Now, the deadly conduct portion was not even the use of the firearm per se. The DA attacked the officer's tactics, saying that you created this circumstance because you used the elevator. You put yourself in a box.
Was he supposed to go up the stairs?
Yes, that's exactly
What?
what the argument was. Was you should have used the stairs. Now a lot of people don't understand this. You go up 4 flights of stairs wearing 30 pounds of gear. By the time you get up there, you're tanked. You're tired. I don't care who you could be. You could be an Olympian, a
Yeah.
sprinter. It's going to affect you. I'm a reasonably fit guy, and going up 4 flights of stairs in 30 pounds of gear, like I'm breathing.
Yeah. No joke.
And so if I get up to the 4th floor and the guys say is right next to the door
Yeah.
of the
And
stairway.
this is after running into the building.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now it's like I got 1 of 2 options. I can
Mhm.
either I guess 1 of 3. I could either fight the guy, which would be absolutely ridiculous. This isn't a movie. No, nobody in real life is John Wick or Jackie Chan or Jet Li. Like we can't just wrestle a knife out of somebody's hands and not get hurt ourselves. And I'm not going to fight a guy with a knife. Like, yeah, right. It's just not going to happen. And so you can either try to fight the guy with a knife, which is, in my opinion, absolutely the wrong move in this scenario. You can use deadly force. You can shoot him,
Yeah.
or you can shut the door. But doing that puts the public at risk. And so the only logical, reasonable explanation here, or a reasonable thing to do for the police, is deadly force. If you can talk to him, yes, absolutely do that. But when the distance is not very much and the suspect is closing in on you to begin with, I mean, you have no time to decide. Now this was years ago, right? The craziest thing happened, and this was right after my shooting. I was still being investigated. Christopher Taylor got convicted.
Mm.
An Austin jury convicted him of deadly conduct. There are Supreme Court cases. There is case law in place stopping criminal charges to be brought up against a police officer for quote unquote poor tactics, even though these weren't poor tactics,
Mhm.
but poor tactics. And you cannot investigate a police officer with what we call 2020 hindsight, which is I got to see what happens. I got to see the end result. You should have known what the end result was going to be, which is crazy. It's basically saying police officers should have been psychic. They should have been able to see the future. So you can't investigate a police officer using 2020 hindsight, and you can't charge a police officer on poor
Yeah,
tactics.
he wasn't planning on killing the guy.
Exactly. It just the guy.
That's premeditation. That's a whole different bag.
Exactly. The suspect committed an action and got a reaction.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah. And it's
Um,
pretty reasonable to go up an elevator.
yeah. And that's the thing. You go up in an elevator, nobody expects the threat to be right there
Yeah.
when the doors open. And then all of a sudden he charges at you.
Mhm.
I've seen the body camera video. You can YouTube it too. It was we're talking a second, and the
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
situation was done. And
And
in
what's happened to him? What
so he got convicted.
Okay.
The judge sentenced him to 2 years in prison. Deadly conduct with a firearm in the state of Texas is a third-degree felony. So now Taylor's also a felon. Yesterday, so Taylor's defense team appealed the
Yeah,
decision.
of course.
Just yesterday, the Court of Appeals in Texas agreed.
Okay.
So it was
Alright.
overturned and acquitted completely.
All charges.
All charges dropped.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
So he
everything was
can he
reversed.
can come back.
Yeah, he's not a felon anymore. He's nothing.
So
Like
does
he's
he have to
just
be reinstated at some level?
well, yeah, I would believe so, but I mean, could he be a police officer at this point? It's
I
like
mean,
if I mean this
emotionally, mentally, I don't know if he would want to be.
no, heck no. This was 5 years. This
Oh
through
my
period of
gosh.
5 years of his
Oh, Lord.
life.
That's so bad.
I can't even imagine the stress.
No. No. Because he
Um,
wasn't working the entire time, right?
no, the whole time.
How
Now
does that work?
the Austin Police Association gave him a job
Okay.
because he lost everything. He lost his
Yeah.
paycheck. I mean everything. And so the Austin Police Association created a position for him, which was a position we needed. They didn't just create something out of thin air. and they brought him on. So he had a job, he was working, he's getting paid, and so that's what he was doing this whole time. Now, this DA, and I can get into this too. I won't. It's a very long conversation, but the DA had it out for Taylor specifically. Um, I don't know why, but he charged Taylor with murder for another case that was deemed justified by the district attorney before Garza. This was back in
How
2017.
can he charge him again? It's already
So,
been.
well, the DA, the first DA, when
Mhm.
this happened, never charged him, which means
Oh,
the DA can go back as
gotcha.
far as he wants and
Yeah,
charge him with it.
that's
So
okay.
that's what happened.
Mhm.
I think this shooting was actually the one from 2017. He got into another shooting in 2020 during the riots. It wasn't because of the riots. It was just like during that time.
Yeah.
Completely unrelated to any sort of George Floyd thing.
This Taylor guy is being refined by fire for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, it's
Is
awful.
he
And
is he a good
so
guy?
great guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know him personally. Super good dude. Great cop. If I was gonna go into like a shady situation, like if he was with me, I
Yeah.
feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, you're gonna make
Um,
it out.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I would feel really good about it. And so he went after Taylor for the shooting that happened in 2020. That was like I think last year, super recent also. He had 3 mistrials on it. And
Mm.
so the DA ended up just dropping the charge. Because he saw like I can't convince enough Austinites,
Yeah.
enough jury to convict him for
Yeah.
this. So he just dropped the charge. But then he went after him for this, and he had this over him for 5 years. He charged Taylor with this one that just got acquitted before the one in 2020.
Mhm.
And so this has been going on for a long time for Taylor. Everybody thought that if the DA is gonna get him on either one of them, it was gonna be the one that had a mistrial and the charges were dropped. We thought that one was out of it. They were both justified in my eyes, but the one he had a mistrial on was I guess the more questionable one,
Yeah.
if at all. But the one that he got convicted for, that blew everybody away. We were like, "What the heck just happened?" Because everybody's like, "Dude, there's no case here. The judge should have never even let it go forward in the first place because there's
Mhm.
case law against what he's being charged for." The government in the state of Texas actually created. They signed. It went to the governor's desk and it's been signed. DAs can't charge police officers with deadly conduct anymore because it's insane. That's basically saying if an officer significantly hurts somebody or kills somebody, even if it's justified, they can still charge the officer with deadly
That's a
conduct.
recent bill
Oh
that
yeah,
was
that's
signed?
happened this past year. Yeah, I
Okay.
think this past legislation or this last session.
Mhm.
Um, so DAs can no longer charge police officers in the state of Texas for deadly conduct. I'm sure there's instances where if it's like blatantly like
Yeah.
bad,
Yeah.
I'm sure they can do some with it, but
Absolutely.
but you can't if deadly force is justified,
Mhm.
you can't charge an officer anymore for the way they killed him,
Yeah.
the way they killed the bad guy.
Yeah.
And so I think that's great because for me, if as a police officer, I try to be, for the lack of a better word, go getter. I like getting into stuff, it's just
Mhm.
as Jackman. I've been in
Mhm.
plenty of crap.
Yeah.
And if I'm reading call text on my computer, which is how they give us information for a call that we're going to or a call that's created, if I see that this situation could go sideways, I would have to use force on this person or possibly shoot them.
Yeah.
Am I really going to go to that call? Because if I have to do it, if the person creates a situation where I need to use deadly force, or I need to use, force where I'm doing like head strikes and I hurt the guy, like actually hurt him, hospitalized. What the DA is just gonna come after me for deadly conduct? Like hell no, man. I got a family,
Mhm.
and that's the problem is creating an atmosphere by the DA where using force, all of a sudden I can go to prison. It's crazy. Even as justified as it might be,
Mhm.
might be, just the fact that I used force,
Yeah.
like they can hem me up for that. It takes the accountability completely out of the perp's hands. The person that created a situation for the police to be there in the first place,
Do the I guess not the victims, but the suspects, do they know that you're handcuffed in some sort of way?
all day long.
Yeah.
A good example of that is vehicle pursuits. And
Okay.
so the Austin Police vehicle pursuit policy is very restricted, and we cannot we can't pursue a vehicle down the wrong way, which I think is a good idea.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's safe. That's
yeah,
that makes
I,
sense.
I think it's a good idea. Um, but it's crazy, and all the vehicle pursuits I get into, most of them the perp ends up going the wrong way down a road because they know I have to terminate the pursuit if they do
Yeah,
that.
you're done. Yeah.
Yeah, and they know that. And so, yes, the suspects knowing our policy or knowing what we can and can't do, they absolutely exploit that. They take advantage.
Golly, man.
Yeah, it sucks. So,
Okay, so you've done military, you did APD, you're doing APD. Um, so how does that affect in being a husband, being a dad, just living life? Because it's got to take a toil somewhere.
mhm,
You've seen so many things for 15 years. That's a lot.
yeah,
So
it's
how do
just
you
about.
process it?
It's hard, man. To be 100% honest, as cliche as it might sound, but this is like the truth. Is I have a very good wife,
Yeah.
Jacqueline. Man, she truly does help me get through a lot of these hard times. When I come home for after a bad day, just a really bad call, uh, a lot of times I have problems like processing it. Um, Ever since I became a dad, it's kids. Like kids, if I see an injured child or a battered child, whatever the case might be, if it's a kid having a bad day,
Mhm.
it's a problem. Like it throws me off my equilibrium for days, and I will eventually always share it with Jacqueline. Sometimes I can share it right when I get home. Sometimes it takes me a couple of days. There's been a few that's taken me a month to process it myself. And again, sometimes because Jacqueline's a mother, and so I ask myself like, if I shared it with her, if I put that kind of demon on her, like what's it gonna do to her?
Yeah. Does that keep you from sharing some things with her?
So
Thinking that she can't process it right?
for me personally,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
but Jacqueline, I mean, she knows me better than anybody, and she knows when something's off. And so she will always tell me like, "Hey, share it. I can handle it," and she can. But yeah, it for me, it definitely, I ask that question all the time. Is like, should I share this with her? Like,
Mhm.
would this be unfair for me to share it with her?
Yeah.
And when I was going through the academy, Jacqueline, we were dating at the time for I think it was like 2 years. When I was going through the academy, we've been together almost 10 now. But in the academy, she told me a lot. Like, hey, don't keep anything from me. Like, talk to me about these things. I've met enough cops in so many different agencies, and a lot of them are divorced, and they all got something in common. There's always a common factor, which is communication.
Mm.
It was always a problem, when I'm what's the word, like when I'm distant, when I'm there but not there,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
She could probably see it though.
Yeah, she definitely sees it, and a huge thing that helps, especially with her, is if she knows why. Like human beings love to know why, right? For
Absolutely.
everything.
Yeah. That's why I'm
And
here.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, exactly. So for her, if she if she sees I'm different, I'm not myself, something's bothering me. If she knows why, it'll help her understand,
Mhm.
and then she can help me in a way that's good for me to get over it, and
Yeah.
then I can help her, and then we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
I refuse. I tell her this all the time. I will never put this job before my family. It'll never happen. And so I'm not gonna. I refuse to be one of those police officers that gets divorced. Like I love Jacqueline to death, man. She's
Yeah.
my she's
You
my
better
whole world.
not.
Yeah, right.
Feel ya.
Yeah. But she really is my world. And now that we have kids, like they're my world too.
Yeah.
You know, um, I wanna stay with Jacqueline for the rest of my life because I love Jacqueline.
Mm.
But there's also the kids. I want to be with Jacqueline because I love my kids too.
Yeah.
Um, and so something that I've noticed, like I said, is that a huge factor that destroys marriages is a lack of communication.
Mhm.
When a guy is distant or a woman, whoever, and when somebody's distant because of things that they've seen or something like that, I think it's stupid not talking to your significant other about that because again, if the other person knows why you're feeling this way,
Yeah.
it makes sense. They don't play this game in their head where is it me? Is it the kids? Is it something I'm doing? It's something like that. And so if I tell Jacqueline these things, as difficult as it might be, she's not in the dark
Yeah.
about it. She
Yeah.
knows. And the knowing is a huge like thing. It's a big reason why I think we work so well. Our communication is really good. And I don't plan on ever keeping anything from her. If something happens at work that sucks, Eventually, I'll always tell her about it. But now that I'm on day shift, nothing crappy really ever happens.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm dealing with like crashes and
yeah.
transients, just like dumb stuff. All the good stuff happens at night. So
All the
it,
dangerous
yeah,
stuff.
all the dangerous stuff, man. I mean, I've definitely had
Don't
my
tell me
fair
you
share.
miss it.
Oh, dude, like yeah, I kind of do.
Mhm.
But again, I as much as I miss it, I missed my family more.
Yeah,
My family's everything to me. And after my shooting last year, my critical incident, Jacqueline and I talked, and at that point, I had so many stories, man, so much experience in such a short a period of time, that like I wasn't gonna do anything new. You know what I mean? It
yeah,
was always gonna be another shooting, another stabbing, or but whatever the case might be. Being on nights, there was three incidences where I could have used deadly force. I could have shot somebody, but it just didn't go that way. It just didn't happen. Either the suspect surrendered at the last minute, or whatever.
thank God.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Contrary to popular belief, no cop goes to work hoping they get to kill somebody. Like
Yeah,
I know people think that's what happens. That is no cop wakes up, man. I really hope I get to shoot somebody today.
yeah,
It just doesn't happen. And yeah, those three instances, the reason it didn't happen was because I one, I just didn't want to do it. Like I don't want to kill anybody. I don't want to shoot anybody. I will. And if the person gives me a very good reason, I won't hesitate. But I don't want to do it. It's not something I hope for,
mhm.
going to work. But being on nights, that's where the meat and potatoes are, man. That's where the good stuff happens. But you
So you
know,
feel left out a little bit.
like yeah, man, like I tell Jacqueline, so I enjoy, as weird as this sounds, something that I'm good at is treating medically
Yeah.
critically injured people that got shot, stabbed, ran over by
If
a
only there
car.
was a bonus for
Yeah,
saving a
dude,
life.
I'd be rich.
Yeah,
But it was something I'm good at. That's my
yeah,
reputation throughout the department, is as a cop, I'm good at that.
mhm,
That's what I can do.
yeah,
And man, I hope other cops think I'm good at other stuff too, not just medical. But I'm good at medical. It's something I enjoy doing. And during the day, man, it's far and in between. You don't really get to do it. I've been on days for a year now.
it's since the incident.
Well, yeah. So I actually think January of
Yeah, so
2025.
almost
I
a
think it
full
was a
year.
year. Yeah, since I moved to days. And
Never going back. Never going back
oh
to
god, I
nights,
might.
man.
Yeah, I
No,
might.
you don't need that. You don't need that.
Yeah,
I wanna
but
keep you around, you
oh
know?
gosh, man. Well, once I get promoted, that's what happens. You're
Yeah,
bottom of the barrel again. I'm gonna go back to
yeah.
nights
Are you
for.
able to talk about the SWAT stuff?
Oh yeah, man. I
You
mean,
are?
I'm in the selection process now,
Okay.
and so
I didn't know.
yeah, yeah.
Sometimes y
Well, so
so
so so nothing's happened yet. I just got to pass I passed the tryouts.
yeah,
So again, we're in the selection process right now, and so um, you have a tryout, which includes a physical portion, a physical fitness portion, and then shooting portion. It's a shooting assessment with a pistol, and then a rifle. And so this year was the first year that they made the rifle assessment a pass or a fail. There was a standard, and if you didn't meet it, you were out. All the other times, it was a pistol was a pass fail, but the rifle was like just an assessment. It was
yeah.
where are you at?
They give you a mulligan if you
Yeah,
screw up.
right. Yeah, exactly. Which is weird because the rifle is the main weapon system used by Austin Police SWAT. Which I think for any SWAT anywhere in the country, their main weapon system is an AR style rifle. And so this year was the first year where you had the pistol, which was pass or fail, but it was also a what we call a hit factor, which is there's no so before there was like a set time. You have to shoot the target in this amount of time. You have to shoot that round.
How much time do you have?
So before this year, I'm not gonna lie to you, it wasn't easy. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't the most difficult shooting exercise that I've ever had to do,
Mhm.
which was really surprising to me. But this year, two of the SWAT team members who are like professional shooters, these guys are nuts.
Yeah.
They're not even human with a gun. It's crazy
They're
how
snipers?
I think both of them are. I know
Yeah,
one for sure is,
yeah.
but I think both of them might be. And so they created a new assessment, which they use a hit factor. What they call it a hit factor. What that is, So the target that they use, you have an A zone hit, which is a very good hit. That's your highest hit.
Mhm.
You have a C zone, and then a D zone, and then a miss. And each zone is points. So an A zone is 5 points. A C zone is 3 points. A D zone hit is 1 point, and then a miss is -10. -10 is very difficult to come back from. Like
Yeah.
if you get a miss, you're probably gonna fail the assessment.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about last year
Oh god, man, yeah, that was rough. It's still bothering me. But so
Bottom of the
they,
barrel, man.
oh my gosh, man, it was like last year, and I'll explain that here in a second. But they take your total amount of points, and again, they don't tell you, hey, you got to get this shot off in a second or 2 seconds, whatever it is. You just shoot the target as quickly as you can accurately, and then they take the total time. I think there was 7 courses of fire. They take the total time that it took you to shoot all 7 rounds.
Mhm.
They take the points, your total points, divided by your total time, and you get your hit back. I think that's all it is. I think that's the math behind it. There might be something else, I don't know, but you have to get it within a certain score. And so that's this year was the first time they did it, and I think it was awesome because it was hard. It was a
Yeah.
difficult assessment.
Yeah.
And to try for the SWAT team in a major city, it should be difficult. I don't blame them at all for making it more difficult than it was because again, before this year, it wasn't an easy assessment, but it wasn't the most difficult thing I've ever had to shoot. And so this year, the physical fitness portion, it's been pretty similar for as long as I've known,
Mhm.
and it's not easy. People fail it. I think we lost, I don't know, three or four maybe this year that tried out from the physical fitness portion, and then the shooting assessment. Holy cow, man, we lost a lot. So after the shooting and rifle, after we were done, there was 5 of us left, and the 5 of us that are there, I'm really glad. I know the other four pretty well, and what a group of dudes, man! What a
Mhm.
group of guys! It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really fun. If hey man, if it's not God's will this year for me to be on the
Yeah.
team, at least I get good training because
Yeah.
it's gonna be good, man. It's a month long of training. We call it spin up, and it's 4 weeks of training. You're assigned to the SWAT team for 4 straight weeks, Monday through Friday, and all we do is train. And we train for specific scenarios. Now, I don't know if they would want me to like get into like
Yeah,
the
you don't have
tactics
to.
and all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how secrety that
Yeah,
stuff
I'm
is,
sure
but
I'm sure they probably don't want you to divulge too
yeah,
much of that.
yeah,
But
but
so it's 4 weeks
yeah, four
and
weeks.
so they're assessing you while you're doing the
Oh
training,
yeah, the whole
and
time it's
that's it.
training. Hmm.
Once and they'll pick from how many?
Yeah,
2?
so there's 5 of us, and yeah, they're taking two right off the
Mm.
bat, and then so they make a what they call an eligibility. Wow, I can't talk. Yeah,
Eligibility.
eligibility list. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so anybody that the other three, they're put on that list, and that list is good for 6 months. And if another spot opens up, they take the next guy in line, and so on. Right after 6 months, the list expires, and you have to try out again if you don't
Okay.
make it. So I went through the training last year, and from what I see, what I hear, the training's not going to be much different. A team changing their tactics, it's not gonna be super dramatic need.
And
So,
nobody else went through it with
I
you
think
last
I
year.
yeah, I think I'm the only one out of this group,
Uh-huh.
that has gone through it before.
Is it typical for people to do it twice?
Oh my gosh, man. So, it usually takes a lot. There's a couple of guys on the team, like, just legends, like, OG SWAT dudes, been on SWAT team for 20 years.
Mm.
Um, I'll talk to them, and they're like, "Yeah, I had to try out 6 times
Oh
to get a
gosh.
spot."
That's
And so,
crazy.
yeah, like, people that get it on the first try, which happens a lot,
Yeah.
it does happen, but I think the more common thing is, yeah, you gotta try out 2, 3, 4
Yeah.
times before you get a spot, and so and again, for me, it's, as I recently, found Jesus Christ, and I've kind of dove into that, and so, I'm trying to be more so like, you know, let be like God, right? And, like, just, like,
Yeah.
if it's God's will, if I'm supposed to be on that team
Yeah.
at this time, great,
Yeah.
He'll give me every tool that I need to succeed, and I'll
Right.
succeed.
Yeah.
If I don't, you know what? It's not the end of the world. I
Yeah.
still have a job. Still got
You're blessed either way.
exactly. I still got
Yeah.
my family. I still
Yeah.
got my job. I got everything. My life doesn't
Mhm.
change. My life doesn't
Yeah.
change at all. And honestly, my life is freaking awesome. So
It
I want
is.
yeah. So I wouldn't complain. Yeah, it would suck. Going through the training again and not making it. But at the end of the day, man, Still blessed. I got 2 awesome boys, got an awesome wife, roof over our head, we can eat, we can pay our bills, like, dude, what am I gonna complain about?
Yeah. And
So
some. I mean,
yeah, yeah,
some
absolutely.
trips in there.
Yeah, exactly, man, making memories, the things that really matter,
Yeah.
so, yeah, man, at the worst case scenario, I got to get some good training for a month,
Yeah.
so
Well, walk me through. You said you just gave your life to Jesus, so that's a big deal.
yeah,
How did you get to that point? Because that's substantial.
yeah.
That's life changing decision.
Yeah, huge, huge. I never thought in 1,000 years, man, I would get to this point in my life. Recently got baptized. As you know, you were there. It was awesome.
Mhm.
Um, it was the best thing that I could have done. And honestly, I can't even explain. Like, I can tell you why I did it, but the feeling to want to do it,
Yeah.
it was like a punch to the chest. I knew without a doubt, and it's not super common for people to have experiences in their life where it's like, I know this is what I need to do, no question. It was like a punch to the gut, man. It was the best punch to the gut I've ever had. And I knew without a doubt this is what I want to do. I told Jacqueline, we were driving home from church, and I was telling her like, hey, I think I want to get baptized. And Jacqueline was super supportive about it immediately, and it was awesome. She said that she would like to get baptized with me.
Mm.
So it was a really cool thing we got to share. I got baptized, and then immediately afterwards, I got the honor, the privilege of baptizing my wife. It's really cool,
It
man.
was
It,
special.
it was awesome, man. As you know, I almost freaking fell down the steps and baptized
Yeah.
myself. So that was
That
that
was
was that
good.
was pretty nuts, man. But it was awesome, man. And the thing that really kind of pushed me over the edge, Charlie Kirk had a lot to do with it. I've watched Charlie Kirk for years, and I loved his message almost every time. I thought his message was very healthy. It was very spiritually, emotionally, physically good. It was just a good way to live your life using his advice. And then, as everybody knows, September 10th, he was shot and killed for voicing his opinions, which again I thought were very healthy opinions. And it wasn't so much of him being murdered; it was the response from so many people. It really opened my eyes to how much evil is actually around me. And somebody explained it to me. I was having trouble putting it into words,
Mhm.
but somebody explained it to me that it stuck with me. And it was the fact that there were so many people in my life that called me a friend. I called them a friend that were celebrating or at a bare minimum validating why Charlie Kirk was murdered. And I have the same, for the most part, I have the same points of view as Charlie Kirk. And so all these people that are in my life that I surround myself with, what happens if I got shot in the neck? What happens if I was killed? Like, are they going to celebrate my death too? Now, personally, I don't celebrate anybody's death unless you're like ISIS or a pedophile. Then I think the world's a better place without you. But I will never celebrate just some random person's death. Like, I'm sure. So I'm sure anybody listening to this can pick it up by now. I lean more conservatively, and for example, just a random example, AOC. I don't like her. I think her ideas are dangerous and bad for the country. But I also think she has a bad heart. I don't think she's a good person. And if somebody were to kill her, I would say a prayer for her husband, and then I would stop talking because I personally don't have anything good to say about her. But I'll tell you right now, I would never celebrate her death. I would not validate her death because I don't think it's something to defend. I think it's awful,
Mm.
and I would never do it ever. I would say a prayer for her, say a prayer for her husband, and then I would stop talking.
Yeah.
And I would mourn with liberals. I would mourn with people that do support her because
Yeah.
as
It's
much as
life.
exactly
It's heartbreaking.
it is, and a death of anybody that, and let's be honest, as much as I don't like AOC, she is an innocent person.
Yeah.
Like, she has done, as far as I know,
Yeah. We don't.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. As far as I know, she's never killed anybody.
Hmm.
She's
Hmm.
never, done evil to anybody. She has ridiculous points of view politically. I think it's just nuts that somebody can see the world the way she does, but she's still, by definition, and by my definition, she's still an innocent person. She doesn't deserve death. She doesn't deserve any of that. And so many people that claim to be part of the good guys, they claim
Mhm.
to be good people, good Christian, Jew, whatever. They're just a good person. And they celebrate somebody being murdered in such a despicable, violent way in front of the world.
Yeah.
Like, how in a world can you claim to be a good-hearted person and at a bare minimum validate that? I remember I was at work and it was close to the end of the day for me. I was about to get off shift, and somebody in my group chat, one of the group chats I'm in, was like, "Hey,
Does that work?
yeah, I was at work. Hey, somebody just shot Charlie Kirk," and I was like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And then the infamous video that made its way around the world in
Mhm.
seconds, that was the link that they sent in the text. So I watched it, and dude, I had a physical reaction to it. I started sweating. I started breathing hard, and it's like you said, as a cop in a major city, I have plugged more bullet holes than I can than I ever hoped in seeing or treating kids just destroyed.
Mm.
I've seen a lot of that kind of stuff. Watching that video physically affected me. And just like everybody else, I don't know whether it was the amount, the level of violence in it. I don't know whether it was because of the way I view Charlie Kirk, maybe both. But it it had such a shock factor to it.
Yeah.
I
You ever hear of the, grief is proportional to intimacy?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. You felt, like, really close to Kirk, even though you didn't know him,
Yeah.
like, his words were, transcendent in a way.
It's the best way to describe it,
I,
yeah.
what was it, though, that what's the thing that you remember most about Kirk in terms of what he said that really pricked your heart about Jesus? What
Uh,
was that push?
so
Because I know there was a couple things.
yeah, yeah, so some for me, and this hit home big time, and that's when I started not just listening to him, but trusting, was, I think it was Michael Knowles. It was Michael Knowles. Phenomenal dude also.
He's
Love
funny.
the
I
guy,
like yeah.
love the guy. He's awesome. But him and Charlie Kirk were having, not a debate, but like a discussion at one of their assemblies that they had, and Michael Knowles was pushing, not pushing, but he was talking about people coming to Christianity.
Okay.
And Charlie Kirk said something along the lines of that, don't I don't know if he said this verbatim like this, but he said it's not so much people coming to Christianity as much as it is people coming to Jesus.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa.
It's a game changer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how I knew, like, this guy's not like anybody else.
Mhm.
He's not pushing you towards a religion because he thinks that religion is better than another religion. He's trying to push you towards Jesus because he truly wanted you. He wanted to meet you in heaven. Charlie Kirk truly wanted what was best for you. And his own personal belief was Jesus. The best thing for you is Jesus because this life is very short and then you have an eternity after that.
Yeah.
And depending on what you do in this life is what's going to happen to you in the next life. And when he was the first person I've ever heard say it's not about religion. And I was like, "Whoa, hold
Mm.
on. It's not about religion. It's about Jesus. It's about your relationship with Jesus." And I was like, "Oh my gosh." And in Charlie Kirk, right after I watched this, I watched another video where it was a Jewish woman who was absolutely out of her freaking mind. She was screaming. It was ridiculous.
At an
Um,
assembly?
yeah, I was at
Yeah. Yeah, one
another
of his
rally he was
talks,
in.
yeah.
She was out of her freaking mind. She was nuts. And he during the conversation, he was like, I do want what's best for you. And she's like, "Oh, so you want me to get baptized?" He's like, "Yeah." And it's not because he was pushing people towards one thing or another. He wanted her to be saved. He wanted her to go to heaven. And he told her that as much as she was screaming and insulting him. He's like, I want to meet you in heaven one day.
Yeah.
And this is how you do it. Now, as you know, I'm Jewish. I'm a Jewish man. And I always thought my entire life that baptism was a Christian or a Catholic thing. If you want to get baptized, you need to convert. And that is not it. That's not the case. Um, I believe for Jew, it's called a Messianic Jew,
Mhm.
where you're a Jew that believes Jesus is the Lord and
Yeah.
Savior, and you get baptized.
Yeah.
And so when I found that out, I was like, and it was funny. I think you were actually the one that explained to me was that Jesus was a Jew. He got baptized, and he got baptized by a Jewish man.
He did.
So
Yeah.
I got baptized by a Jewish man.
You did.
I mean, it
Yeah.
was
Kenny,
awesome.
yeah.
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 So that completely changed the game for me. And again, when Charlie Kirk said, it's not so much you converting, it's not bringing you to Christianity, it's bringing you to Jesus. That's when I knew he's not doing this for personal gain for him. He's doing
Mhm.
it for you. And that's why I was like, you know what? Let me listen to this man on this topic. And I did. I truly opened up my heart to everything he had to say. Not because I agree with him on everything else, but because of the way he viewed
Yeah.
baptism in the first
You
place.
saw his relationship with Jesus
Mhm.
and you knew it was special. It's crazy because Jesus said, "They will know that you follow me because of how you love each other."
Yeah.
And it's how he loved that was special.
Hmm.
You know, he loved people and he loved God and you could see it,
Yeah.
you know? It was almost tangible. Yeah, he had different ideas, they weren't all perfect, we're not perfect,
Hmm.
but he definitely loved Jesus,
Yeah.
and that's the thing to take home.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
If and I I also when somebody gets killed for their beliefs, for the most part, most of the time, I can name off a bunch of people in the past, MLK Jr.,
Yeah.
Muhammad Gandhi, a bunch of people that were assassinated because of their beliefs. That's how I know that their beliefs were most likely, for a lack of a better word, better and effective. MLK Jr., you know, he was taken out because of his beliefs that didn't suit the agenda of the elites or whoever, and they took him out.
Yeah.
JFK, I mean, you could just go on
Yeah, yeah,
forever.
it's laundry list for
Yeah,
sure.
and so if anybody gets assassinated because of their beliefs, and it's somebody with a platform, not just anybody, but somebody with a platform that's reaching a large amount of people.
Mhm.
I mean, let's be honest, man. Charlie Kirk changed the game for younger America and younger people everywhere, all
Yeah.
around the world. He was bringing young people. He was taking people away from the left and bringing them to the right. And again, not because he would push the right conservatism, but he would push ideas.
Well, yeah, he was meeting them where they were and having a conversation,
Yeah,
you
exactly,
know?
exactly. And he would do it in such a way that he would convince the person to, at a bare minimum, listen with an open mind.
Yeah.
And then people start to realize these ideas, they make sense. They're logical.
Yeah.
And that was the problem. He was effective with the younger generation. If you look at the left, and this was genius. I gotta give it to the left, man. They took over education, they took over social media, they took over the media, and they took over entertainment, Hollywood. You
And they've
take
had
over those,
Hollywood for a while.
oh, dude, forever. And you take over those four things. You just took over the four largest outlets of quote unquote information
Mhm.
distribution
Mhm.
to the younger generation. It's genius. And the left did that. The left took over those four industries. And that way they were able to push their agenda almost without any pushback. For the right to communicate with the younger generation was almost impossible. And Charlie Kirk came out of nowhere, and he was starting to push people away from liberalism and pushing them towards conservatism. And I think that's why he was taken out. He was just effective, and taking over those four industries took the left a long time.
Mhm.
It was decades of work that Charlie Kirk was undoing in just a few years. I mean, think about it. There's no way they were going to let him. There was no way they could let him continue.
'Cause he more than likely would have tried to run for office,
Which
probably.
I was praying that he would.
Yeah.
The guy was unapologetically effective,
Mhm.
especially with young people. And young people, I mean, they're always going to be the future, right? They're
Yeah.
always the next generation. And our generation, millennials, and then the one after us, Gen Z,
Gen
dude,
Z scary.
bro, they are lost.
That's a
You
that's
know,
a man. I put my brother in that box a little bit.
mine too. Yeah, love
It's
them to death, both
it's
of them.
only like 5 years difference. I'm pretty sure he's Gen Z.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely,
Do
man. Yeah.
you have you seen some of the things now with the assassination, like how it went down? Have you seen those clips of all the turning point people and what they did? And
Yeah.
kind of scary. It seems
So,
like it
y-
might be an inside
so
a little bit.
I do not. So I haven't seen enough evidence to convince me that it was an inside job.
Maybe not inside, but they
Um,
knew something.
well, so they did. Apparently, there was information that they had where there was, I guess, for lack of a better word, some sort of safety breach,
Hmm.
and they were about to put the Utah
Yeah, the,
rally or
the university,
yeah,
really. Yeah,
they
the
were going to put it
campus.
inside. They were going to put it inside an
That's where it should have
auditorium.
been for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
And that's I think after what happened to Charlie Kirk, they can't. No conservative speaker can do something outside.
No,
Like it
I
just
mean
can't happen.
even liberal, you better be inside.
Yeah,
Like
it needs
that's
to be in
just
an auditorium.
safer.
Exactly. And they just decided not to do it.
Mm,
They decided to keep it where it was because they knew that a lot of people were going to come out, and Charlie Kirk wanted to, I guess, reach as many people as possible. No one ever thinks that somebody who's never created policy, never done anything, he's just literally. You look at what Charlie Kirk has done. He just talked to people. That was
yeah.
it. And I love the people that are just like, well, he just learned a few scripts, and that's why he was effective. He just learned how to talk about those specific scripts really well. It's like, what do that doesn't make sense. It's not logical because for him, it was always an open mic. You come up to the
Yeah.
mic and you ask whatever you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah, knowing how to have rhetoric, and even back in the day when they taught classes on rhetoric and speaking is different than answering questions
Yeah,
and being an apologist, because he was also an apologist in a lot of ways. Yeah, it's just like that dude off the cuff was answering the most ridiculous questions from the left and the right. I
yeah,
mean, and
and
both sides of the aisle were coming up with crazy because they
yeah,
wanted to get him
hmm
every
yeah,
time, and I think he knew that. Like he had to be ready for everything, you know. And yeah, oh gosh, that guy. Have you seen the sorry to change script, but I just saw it the other day. There's a guy that's walking through the microphone theory. Have you seen that?
mm,
Where the microphone is the thing. It blew up and there's a piece in there that hit the net.
yeah.
Have you seen that?
No, no, I haven't.
It's pretty wild. Like I wish I could pull it up. I don't have your internet, but there's like a projectile inside. And
Yeah,
it's crazy because if you look at it, it's the same size
yeah,
as of that hole, because the bullet that they're saying, we've talked about it,
yeah.
it's not the same
Well,
size bullet.
so let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Here's a question that nobody brings up, and
Okay.
I'm not saying it's the truth. I'm
Go
not
for
saying
it.
it's anything like that. But everything the FBI has shown. What if everything the FBI is showing as far as the Charlie Kirk assassination is true?
It's possible.
So so people have this problem, right? Where it's like when something big happens,
Mm-hmm.
you know as well as I do, there are 1,000 conspiracy theories
We love
out of nowhere.
conspiracy
Oh,
theories.
dude, it's crazy. And the FBI could have shown anybody.
Yes.
They could have arrested anybody. And nope, it's not the guy. They're covering it up. And
You'd never think it's the guy. Like you see
yeah.
Tyler Robinson's face, you're like, there's no way that this guy pulled the trigger.
Well, so the thing is so it was a 200-yard shot with I guess a 30-06 bullet. I could be completely wrong.
No, I think you're right.
But
No,
it was
that's right.
200-yard shot with a 30-06, and people are saying you can't. It was silly to me. You can't make that shot. It's
You can
like,
make
are
that
you
shot.
out of your? That's
I'm
a
not a good shot, but I'm pretty sure with give me a month, I can make that shot.
dude.
Yeah,
I'll give you a day, and you can make that shot. It's especially with a stationary target. Charlie Kirk was sitting
that's
down.
and the slope and the elevation. He
Yeah,
was like basically underground. The way that the have you
yeah,
seen it? The
yeah.
campus, the
hmm
layout, crazy. I don't know why it was
Everything.
angled that way.
Yeah, but everything that I have seen from the FBI, and again, I want to make this clear. I'm not saying that what they're saying happened, but the FBI has presented its evidence and why they believe Tyler Robinson is the guy, why they believe this is the gun, all that stuff, right? And everything is logical. It all makes sense. Um, like I said, they could have presented any evidence they wanted, and everybody would have said, "Nope, not it, not the guy."
Yeah,
It's like you were literally just kind of waiting to say, "Nope, they're lying." And again, it's the FBI. Like the feds, bro, they got an agenda. I get it. I'm not lost on that. But at the same time, Um, I've talked to so many people, and their logic is, well, you can't make that shot with that bullet. That tells me you've never shot a gun in a day in your life. You can absolutely make that shot. And it's a very easy shot, especially with an optic scope.
Yeah.
Very, very
Which
easy
he
shot.
had.
Yeah, which
That
he
he did
used.
have.
hmm
Yeah.
Um, Now, you got people like Candace Owens. I was a huge Candace Owens fan. I thought she was great. I can't stand her now. And it's not because she's not saying things that I disagree with. It's how she's doing it that's driving me bananas.
Yeah.
She knows. She's very, very good at what she's done. She's been doing this for a
Yeah.
long time, podcasts and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But she understands. People don't give a damn about evidence. All she has to do is plant the seed
Yes.
of what's the word?
It's like what you were talking about. It's like, we gotta come up with a really good headline, and then that's what they're gonna see.
Exactly.
They don't have to read the rest of the article.
Mhm.
Just throw out that little take. My
Mhm.
hot take. Here's my hot take.
Yeah.
And they eat it up.
Yeah.
You know?
And it was a very well known fact. She's blaming she's blaming Israel for a lot of it, right? She's saying the Israelis did it.
Yes.
And
It's
there's
conspiracy, man.
yeah, there's
Mossad.
no yeah,
It's all
yeah,
Mossad.
everything's Mossad, right? All of a sudden every bad thing that happens in the world, it's a Mossad operative. All right, whatever, dude. I want you to present me evidence. Tell me why you think that.
Yeah.
But if all you're doing is all they have to do is say it was Mossad. That's all they have to say. They
Yeah.
just got to plant that seed,
Mhm.
and then everybody else just kind of does the rest. They just
Yeah.
start talking about it. Candace Owens has, I love him. She brings receipts. What receipts? I've been like laser focused on this whole thing, and
She has a
nothing.
couple texting conversations that she'll bring up, but
That's
that's
it.
like it. Yeah.
Like she said, the Jews did it, the Israelis did it because Charlie Kirk had a couple of text messages with a guy where he says like,
Yeah.
oh, they're not gonna pay the same amount of money or whatever because I'm with Candace Owens.
Yeah.
That is insane. And she knew all she had to do was plant that seed. The Israelis did it. That's all she had to do. And hey, here's a couple of text messages. You're
Yeah.
telling me they shot Charlie Kirk in the neck.
Well, it's the perfect time with the Gaza stuff.
Exactly.
You know.
Everybody hates the Israelis anyways, right? And the fact that she says I was Charlie Kirk's best friends, like, dude, you were tearing down everything he built. Like you could do this without destroying his legacy. If you gave a damn about Charlie Kirk, you wouldn't be doing it this way. And again, I'm all about asking questions. So is Charlie Kirk, but she's not asking questions. She, according to her, it's like 30 different entities killed Charlie Kirk.
Yeah. It's the wife. It's Mossad.
Yeah,
It's,
it's the French Foreign Legion. Like, what are we talking about right now? The U.S. military had something to do with it, according to her. And again, she knows she doesn't have to present evidence.
Mm.
And so I think words matter. I don't say proof. It's next to impossible to prove anything. Because proof is that I can show you that this happened 100%. That's proof. Evidence is, hey, this is why I think something, and this is why I think it. And everything it's just all right. What is logical about what you're presenting me? Is it
Mhm.
logical to believe the Mossad did it? Is it logical to believe the French did it? Is it logical to believe that the United States military did it? No. Everything that Candace Owens has showed, which is next to nothing, is very illogical to think
Mhm.
that any of those people did it. The FBI presented the gun. They presented the fragments. They presented the text messages. They presented all these things.
Yeah.
And simply because of the evidence they have shown me, I think it's more logical to conclude that what the FBI is saying is at a bare minimum more. It holds more weight than what Candace Owens is saying.
Yeah.
If Candace Owens was able to present evidence, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh man, if she's right about all of it though,
Yeah.
if her platform is
Yeah.
it'll be in the ether.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But that's another thing. She has never made more money than she is right now.
Oh,
she
yeah,
she
no.
has capitalized on Charlie Kirk's death more than
Yes,
anybody.
I know.
She's making like what $1 million now an episode. Don't quote me on that. It could be anything, but I know she's making more money now than she ever has.
Oh, probably. Yeah, I think you're right.
She's the number one podcast in the world right now.
Because that all of her clips
Yeah.
are based off of Charlie Kirk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No one has capitalized off of Charlie
And,
Kirk's
or
death more.
the French lady, Macron's wife.
Oh my god, dude! Everything and it's crazy, And
again, that's the evidence thing that
the quote unquote evidence.
I mean, like she's not pretty anymore, but I mean, that's pretty rough to throw her under the bus like that.
Oh, 100%. And like, again, Candace Owens, she's just she's not interested in evidence. She's not interested in any of that stuff. She'll present a couple of text messages and say, see, This is why the Israelis did it. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So Charlie Kirk, let's be honest, was one of the most outspoken pro-Israel voices out there.
But
Um,
up until the end,
well,
right?
well,
Like pretty, you know.
well, no, he was getting to a point where it was like a week before he was
Yeah.
killed. He sent an email to Netanyahu, Benjamin Netanyahu, saying, "Hey, you're losing your footing with the conservative movement, at least in the United States. You need to switch it up." He was literally trying to help Israel. He wasn't going against Israel. He was simply saying, like, "Hey, you're losing the PR portion of this whole
Hmm.
thing,
Hmm.
and you need to start reevaluating how you're presenting things to the world." That's what he was doing while he was alive. I don't think anybody that, like, his loyalty to Israel was never really in question. Nobody was like, "Hey, I think he's turning."
Yeah.
It was only after he was killed that people were like, "Oh, Charlie Kirk was turning,"
Hmm.
but nobody dared to say that out loud because they knew Charlie Kirk would be like, "No, I'm
Yeah.
not."
Yeah.
Only after he was killed, people started questioning his loyalty towards Israel because he couldn't defend himself.
Right.
Candace Owens is one of the biggest ones. She presented a few text messages saying, Charlie Kirk saying the stereotype of Jews, right? is they like their money, right?
Yeah.
Like, she's saying that's why they killed him. Are you crazy? No one short of Donald Trump, nobody has verbally come out in defense of Israel more than Charlie Kirk when he was alive. If Israel was trying to take out any anti voice against Israel, why the heck is she still alive? Why is Tucker Carlson still alive?
Yeah.
Like, why would they go after Charlie Kirk? He was the least threat
Yeah.
they had. If you want to talk about people's voices, Charlie Kirk was way more pro-Israel than he was
Hmm.
anti-Israel. Tucker
Because
Carlson,
Tucker, at that point, when he did, when the assassination did happen, was very like against Israel. Tucker at that time.
huge,
Yeah.
huge. Ever since the beginning of the war with Hamas, ever since
Right.
2023,
Right.
Tucker Carlson's been against
And
Israel.
before he was pro-Israel up until the war.
Well, I don't know if he was ever pro-Israel. I've followed him a lot, but yeah, he certainly wasn't what he is now.
Mm.
Recently, like this past week, he said that radical Islam is not a problem. Israel's the
That's
problem.
crazy.
And it's like, whoa. Like
Yeah.
Christmas festivals aren't being canceled all over the world because of the Jews. They're not putting barriers up to keep cars from entering these things to run
Hmm.
people over, not
Yeah.
because of the Jews.
Yeah.
You know, if he literally said radical Islam isn't the problem, Israel's the
Hmm.
problem. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? So if what Candace Owens is saying is true, then why is she still breathing? Why is Tucker Carlson still breathing? Why are half the world leaders still breathing?
Yeah. It's kind of crazy.
Israel's not taking out any of these people. You're telling me they decided to take out Charlie Kirk because he said some negative stuff about an Israeli donor in a text thread? Come
Yeah.
on, man.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a
Like,
bit far fetched.
nothing about what she is saying is logical. And again, that's why I don't believe her. It's not because her narrative is against mine. It's because she hasn't presented any evidence to me.
But
So,
it's got to be for money at this point
oh,
because
for
it's
her, oh,
constant. It's
absolutely, all
constant
day,
clips. There's nothing else.
all day
Like we're
long.
not talking about anything else
Yeah,
anymore.
all day long. What she is doing is for financial. She will not stop because
Mm.
she's making too much money.
Yeah.
She won't stop. Nobody has capitalized more than her. And the fact that Charlie Kirk's wife, Erica Kirk, had to set up a meeting with Candace
Yeah.
Owens just to discuss how they can move forward without this being so destructive.
Yeah.
Again, like, if I was killed, right? If somebody that claims to be my best friend was tearing down everything that I built,
Mhm.
like, you hate me. You hate me. There's Candace Owens, once again, let's go back to the evidence. It's more logical to believe that she hated Charlie Kirk than liked him
Yeah.
because of what she's doing right now. She waited to do all of this until after Charlie Kirk was dead. Are you kidding me? Like, I'll take the words right out of her mouth. I think she did it. I'm just asking questions. Like, come on,
Yeah. Yeah.
give
Yeah.
me a break. And saying that right here on this podcast, I just presented as much evidence as she has,
Yeah.
and it's literally just the words, just me planting the seed. That's it.
Mhm.
If you've been doing this podcast for years and had a huge following, me saying that, like, people might be, oh well,
Yeah. It would
maybe,
create
right?
some
Yeah,
ripples there.
maybe.
Yeah.
That's all people got to do nowadays. Just plant the seed. It's scary.
That is scary.
So, like, and another thing, while we're on Charlie Kirk,
Mhm.
I want to say this too. So
Yeah.
everybody's giving Erica Kirk crap for moving on too fast. Now I didn't know Charlie Kirk personally, right?
Mm.
But I given from what I've seen about him, right? He's a very ambitious person. He's very driven. I could guarantee you, he wouldn't want Erica Kirk to mourn him more than a day. He would say, "Don't let my legacy die. Like, keep it going.
Mhm.
Don't let this end with me." Because it was never about, I'm sure he would say, it was never about me.
I don't know if it's the, like, how fast she moved on bit. It's the way in which she mourned was strange.
Well, well,
Okay, and I'll just give you an example.
eh,
Or we can just talk about it in real world terms for us. If
sure.
Jamie or Jackie lost one of us, it's gonna be longer than a day,
Hmm.
and they're gonna be distraught, like unfunctionable people.
Yeah.
They won't be able to function physically.
You sure?
I'm pretty sure. And I mean, you've lost people, right?
Yeah.
And have you lost anybody close?
Yeah.
How close?
Pretty close.
Like
So I guess Chris Gutierrez.
mm,
You remember him back
yeah,
in,
yeah.
2018? He was killed in a car crash.
Mhm.
One of my best buddies. He was actually he was hanging out with us
Yeah.
during New Year's Eve,
Yes.
the day before, and he stayed at our house. He
Yeah.
was literally
Yeah.
left. He left our apartment,
Yeah.
was
I
driving with some of our other buddies, and was killed.
I just I think it's hard to think in terms of a wife and husband. That's a different relationship between
Yeah, granted,
friendships,
absolutely, yeah, for
and
sure.
that's your
Now, let me
I'm
ask you
just throwing
this.
it out there.
Yeah,
Like it was strange the dab of the eye. It's just like
sure.
I think there would be a little bit more heartbreak
Yeah, so absolutely,
if grief is proportional to
and
intimacy.
I think that's very fair to say. Very fair.
I'm not, and I don't think I really hope to God she had nothing to do with it, but it was like the weirdest, both the interview and the first day she showed her face. It was just like, this is odd.
The first day she showed her face, right? It was 2 days. Two
Two
days
days, yeah,
after
2 days.
Charlie
But
Kirk was killed.
the dink dink on the eye, it was just
Well,
kind of
the
like,
what?
those are not even tears, lady.
Well,
It's
I
not.
don't. So
I'm
I
just,
don't.
it just wasn't.
I get it. So I'm not.
Would
I,
Jackie be even able to get up on a podium? You know what I mean?
well, it depends. So
I'm just saying.
one, it depends on, in this case, right, or
Sure,
a
sure, sure.
wife.
Yeah,
It depends on who the wife is, like
absolutely.
how she is, her personality, and all
She's
that stuff.
obviously very ambitious.
Yeah,
Like,
she's exactly.
very ready to rock.
Yeah,
I'm pantsuit,
yeah.
I'm ready to
Now,
go.
what is she doing behind closed doors, not in front of the world?
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean,
So,
she's putting on the face for sure
well,
for the public.
she's a woman on a mission. Is the thing, and that
What's the
uh,
mission? What's her mission? What do
well,
you think?
I think her mission is to keep Turning Point USA alive. Because let's be
No
honest,
matter what.
absolutely, no matter what, it's so. I got no doubt that she loved Charlie Kirk with all of her heart, and the reason I say that is because everything that I saw,
Yeah.
while Charlie Kirk was still alive, she was in a few clips, this and
Yeah.
that, and it was always really nice to see them
Yeah.
together. Now again, how they were behind closed doors, who the hell knows?
Yeah, yeah, we don't know.
But she did this thing where she would ask him some questions every day, and
Mhm.
she would record it. And
I did see that. Yeah, those were
yeah,
good.
and
Little wisdom
yeah,
nuggets. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
one of the many things that they did, and you see in Charlie Kirk's face, right? He was genuinely happy, and so that makes me believe that they did have a good relationship.
Yeah, oh, no doubt. No doubt.
And so when people say, "Well, I don't see her crying enough," or
Uh-huh.
"I don't see her
Yeah.
doing what I think she should do," it's like,
Yeah.
who in the world are you
Yeah.
to tell her how she should mourn, especially when she's got a husband like Charlie Kirk? Charlie Kirk, I guarantee it, man.
It's a different type of relationship. I just think for an average person, it doesn't my brain is it's hard for me to compute
Yeah,
like what is happening.
for sure.
You know what I mean?
And
You don't see that when
well,
you saw that?
I do agree
Okay.
with you, but
Okay.
I disagree in the part where she's not mourning the way I think she should mourn, or that she's mourning suspiciously.
I'm not I think
She's
it's just I don't even think it's suspicious. I just think it's strange.
yeah,
Like you're ready to be the CEO of Turning Point
Well,
and
well, it well
pretty
it
quickly.
well it depends. I mean, it certainly depends, and you got to look at it this way too.
Maybe there was
She's
a plan beforehand
well,
for something
she
like
was made
that.
the CEO, but do you think she's alone? Like, do you think she's running this company now alone? She's got so much support. They made her the CEO. I think more so for symbolism. You
Had to
know,
be. Had
like
Yeah,
yeah, it's
that's a move. Yeah.
exactly. But as far as like the business aspect goes, like of
Yeah,
course
she's
she doesn't
probably
know
not
what she's
touching
doing.
any of the money, which is also
Yeah.
kind of scary for her.
Well, for her,
Not
sure.
even knowing how the money is being moved.
Yeah, for sure.
Be
But you know, I think Charlie Kirk was smiling down from heaven, like when they made that move. Like,
Yeah.
hey, I was the CEO, and now what happened to me,
Yeah, yeah.
and they made this move. They gave the company to his wife, and I think she has a lot of uh emotional. Um, what's the word? She's she's very in it. She's got a lot of passion to keep it alive because of the guy that Charlie Kirk was. I can just about guarantee, man. And again, I don't know Charlie Kirk on a personal level, but
Yeah.
everything that I've seen while he was alive, he was like he said during one of the podcasts that he was on
Mhm.
was when he first started Turning Point USA, he was 18, and he thought that you have to do X, Y, and Z to be successful, right?
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
And he realized very quickly that I just need to outwork the competition. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Just be one step ahead of everybody else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just need to stay up later, try harder, do
Mhm.
more. And so everything he built at such a young age, um, if his wife, and this is just the way I think, is that if his wife truly cared about him, she would want his legacy to survive.
Mhm.
It truly for everybody. It's all about legacy. You know, what are you going to leave behind? Charlie Kirk touched the lives of a lot of people. He had millions of people attend his funeral, whether they were there physically or
Mhm.
streaming it online or
Yeah.
whatever the case was. Millions of people worldwide. Um, he touched the lives of a lot of people. And if like the world doesn't stop spinning, you can't Turning Point USA can't take time off
Mhm.
because the movement will slow down or die. So the world continues to spin. Turning Point USA needs to continue what they're doing, or else everything that Charlie Kirk did, dies with him. And if Erica Kirk truly cares about him, which I think she does, she will do everything that she can to keep his legacy alive because that is all that remains of Charlie Kirk. So instead of sitting in a room crying all day,
Yeah.
like he's still gone.
Yeah. No, I know, and it doesn't
Um,
change anything.
exactly. And so I think that at night, when she is alone, after she tucked her girls in to bed, she probably cries. She mourns behind closed doors. Um, and that's got to be really hard to have to do that and then have half the world say that you're a fraud
Yeah.
right after your husband got shot in the neck in front of the whole world. To do that with as much grace as she has is, in my opinion, nothing short of incredible. I would lose it. They would have to put me in a freaking straitjacket. She has far more patience and far much more grace than I do.
Mhm.
I would want the world of everybody calling me a fraud. I would want their world to burn. Like I would want, and it's hard because I'm trying to be more of a man of faith and this and that. Um, I'm trying much harder to
Yeah.
be better than the guy
To
I've
give
been.
some grace.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
undeserved love.
Exactly. And for her to and she's she has said that and I think, it's not like she said she forgave Tyler Robinson. I don't think she forgave him.
I
She
think
wants him
I think she
well, I think she wants him to spend the rest of his life in prison.
well, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think
Um
there's a difference, like even being a man of faith, you still want justice. God is just, and if God is just, He wants justice.
yeah.
Wages of sin is death. If we're not following with Jesus, death is still on the table
Yeah.
because He's just. It's not because He like hates His creation. He's a just God, and those that sin are that's what's coming. That's
Mhm.
the consequence.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
only Jesus is the covering, the protection from the wrath of God because He took the wrath, which is a crazy thought.
Yeah.
He took our wrath on
Yeah,
the cross.
it's a wonderful and terrible thing,
Yeah,
you
it
know.
is. Before the
Um
foundations of the world.
yeah. But to do what Erica Kirk has done, to go through what she's gone through, for the whole world to judge,
Mhm. Mhm.
is crazy to me.
Yeah.
To mourn, with only your loved ones, right, is difficult. But to mourn while half the world celebrates the horrible thing that happened to your husband, and to continue operating sanely
Yeah.
is very difficult. And people continue. I think people continue, and they will continue, to be as demonic as they have been up to this point. I can appreciate asking questions, and I learned that from Charlie Kirk. That's what he did. He let people ask questions. That's what he promoted, was a conversation.
Sure.
I don't think that's what Candace Owens is doing. I don't think that's what Tucker Carlson is doing. I don't think that's what a lot of people are doing. They're
Yeah.
not.
Take
They're
my
not.
opinion,
Yeah,
swallow it.
exactly.
This is the right
They're
thing to
not
do.
asking questions in good faith. They're asking. Again, they're just planting the seed of distrust. They're planting the seed of what the FBI is telling you is untrue. What if it is true? What if the FBI is? What if they have all the evidence they need against Tyler Robinson? What if he was there? What if he did do it? It doesn't matter who the FBI presented. Whoever they presented, there was people just on Facebook waiting to type, "This is a cover up."
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy. So, and there's no evidence to suggest that it was a cover up, except for the fact that it is the Fed saying it. But I mean, like I said, I've been pretty.
I think it's also the climate of where we're in. We just we've had COVID, lied to, BLM happened. That was weird.
Yeah.
It's just been back to back. Epstein's around there.
Hmm.
There have been lies,
Absolutely.
like a
Nobody
ton.
nobody will lie to you more than the federal
And so
government.
it's just like
You
it's
know.
hard to believe. Like, oh yeah, it's Tyler.
Yeah.
It could be.
Yeah.
It really could be. I can't wait for the trial.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Mhm. I
is
mean,
it going to be public? Do you know?
so there was a hearing. I think it was his first hearing that they kept private, but I
Ooh,
think today
is it
actually
today?
they released the audio for it. So, but I think
That'll be an interesting
yeah.
listen to
Well, I
because
think so they have gag orders or trials that are private, to avoid the public affecting the
hmm
trial.
hmm
Now, obviously, this is a very high profile incident.
it's got to be on tape at the very
I
least. Maybe not
it
video,
it
but
it it will absolutely be recorded in audio, visual, all that stuff. I think they have to do that. But and
because Diddy's was right.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And, like George Floyd's, Derek Chauvin, right? The
Yes.
cop that
Yes.
was, convicted of
That's
killing
a
George
tough
Floyd.
one, man. Mm.
They kept the identity of the jury secret, which, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely do
Yeah.
that. But I think like, a lot of that trial was secret,
hmm
because they didn't want the public to affect the trial, because everybody in this country
Yeah.
has the right to a fair, impartial, speedy trial, right?
hmm
So for this, as far as Charlie Kirk's trial go, it has been so heavily affected and swayed by public opinion.
Yeah. I
They,
can't imagine their jury pool and
yeah,
like, oh
it would be difficult. Yeah,
yeah,
it'd be hard, and
it'd
yeah,
be
they're gonna have
so
to.
divided
Oh
too.
yeah, big time. And that's the worst part, is that murder has become partisan. You know,
hmm
um,
hmm
and I will say it. I believe that the left has gotten to a point where they celebrate murder, like it's a holiday. If you look at just in 2025, right? So you had Charlie Kirk. The left's response to that was absolutely disgusting. Luigi Mangione, with the CEO of that healthcare
Oh
insurance company.
yes, healthcare.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, man!
Hmm
How many fan pages were made for that guy? Now,
But
uh,
I feel like that one was left and right were pretty much like rooting for that guy to be dead,
well,
which
I,
sucked.
I I think I think a lot needs to change in the healthcare
Yeah.
in this country, but at the same time, it's not the CEO of one healthcare company. It's not his fault. He's playing the game just like everybody
It is
else.
the game,
Um,
top to bottom.
yeah, he's just playing the game that the world has created. It's
Yeah.
so they killed a health. He killed a healthcare CEO. Maybe, right? His trial still needs to happen, but he's the alleged killer, right? Um, what has changed?
Yeah.
What But
No,
you're gonna kill one CEO of one
my
insurance
health
company?
insurance increased
Exactly.
after
It's
that
the most
happened.
ridiculous
Yeah.
thing thinking, "Hey, I'm gonna shoot this person in the back 3
Mhm.
times,
Mhm.
and the world is going to change." Like, bro, they're just spending more money on their security now. That's it. That's the only
Yes.
thing that's changed.
Yeah.
It's not the CEO of healthcare companies. It's not
No.
them. It is the world that we live in.
Yeah.
It's the laws and the rules that have been passed. So to do that, and everybody having a problem with the health insurance companies, it's not. It's if they all banded together and say, "Hey, let's lower this," they can do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they
They'll
won't, and they
just
never
get
will.
less profit. I
Exactly.
mean,
Well, the crazy thing is that their profit margin might actually stay the same. The only reason healthcare is so expensive is because of the insurance companies. Well, all right, don't quote me on any of this. This is strictly opinion for me,
mhm,
right?
mhm.
But if you got all these healthcare companies, right? So, if you go to the hospital and you don't have insurance, they will charge you far less. But if you do have health insurance, the hospitals will charge $100 for an ibuprofen pill because no one really sees what they're spending this money on, right?
Right.
They just send a bill to the insurance company.
Yeah.
And so healthcare doesn't need to be expensive in this country. It doesn't. Um, I think that if the hospitals and the healthcare companies started charging what they actually needed to and not 1,000 times, literally 1,000 times what something actually costs, like we would be just fine. Everybody's premiums would be just fine. But instead, it's been monopolized by 10 companies,
What
major companies.
have you heard the counter argument though that our healthcare system would be less effective in terms of like the experimental things because they make more, they're able to make more, they have giant profit margins. They can do those type of things here in the US. People come here for the good stuff.
Yeah,
Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah, absolutely.
Like nobody you go to Mexico, because it's cheap, but it's not the best. You
Yeah,
come to US because it's the best and they get paid more for that.
yeah,
So I think that's like, devil's advocate because the doctors here get paid a ton, but they are the best in the world.
they are. Yeah, and absolutely, absolutely. I think the high price range for everything, yeah, creates resources, creates like I believe that's what you're saying is
Yeah,
is that
yeah.
the profit they can spend more money
If you
on.
lowered everything, I think there would be a problem in our healthcare system. I think not everybody's going to want to be a doctor. If they know that they're not going to make that 300K,
Yeah,
get less people trying to do it.
yeah, maybe, maybe.
My opinion.
But at the same time, again, it's the hell. I like the like, they're gonna get their money regardless. Like the profit. We're talking after expenses. I mean, these insurance companies are making $250 billion
Yeah,
a year.
yeah.
And that is profit. That's after all of their expenses.
Hmm.
That's the money left over.
Right.
Uh, they can lower it. You could still pay doctors. Like a buddy of mine, right? Um, Unfortunately, never got to meet him. He was supposed to be one of my groomsmen at the wedding, so you would
Yeah,
have met him,
yeah.
but COVID kind of kept him away, or whatever the case was. Anyways, he's a doctor. He passed all of his training, passed his med school, passed his residency, he's board certified, all that good stuff.
Okay.
And next year, well, 2026 or 2027, he actually starts his specialty,
Hmm.
and he gets paid what he's supposed to,
Yeah.
1.2 million a year.
Woo.
Um,
Okay.
that's what he'll make. Now,
And you'll take a 5% cut.
God, dude, that would be awesome. But you know, even with the even if you lowered the profit in the medical field, he could still make that much. The amount of people that make $100 million in the field of medicine is insane. The amount that like I'm a huge capitalist. I'm big on capitalism. I think capitalism is the best economic structure
Hmm.
in the world. It's the economic structure that has taken it's the only economic structure that has taken more people out of poverty than put them into
Yeah.
poverty. So I'm a big capitalist. Don't get me wrong. Making money, do it. Do
Right.
you, find something find a an item that consumers want to buy, good for
But
you.
but that's the thing. Everybody wants what they have to offer, and they have a necessity, which is even it takes their profit margins even crazy.
Yeah.
It's not a Coke that they're offering. It's like, hey, do you want to live or die?
Yeah. And
You
and
know,
that's a and that's the
like,
thing. The medicine field
hmm
is the
hmm
one place where they don't really have to advertise
no, they don't.
their
No,
product. People need it. It's a
yes,
product that people need. And everybody knows why hospitals exist. Everybody
yeah,
knows why
yeah.
doctors exist, right? They don't you don't need to advertise it. But like I was saying, the level of profit I think is outrageous. And again, I'm a capitalist.
hmm
And I still think I'm still comfortable saying that the amount that these companies are making is outrageous. It doesn't have to be so expensive. And me being a cop, it's funny. So I see this a lot every day. There's a big reason that it is expensive. I love when people compare our healthcare system to say Norway or Sweden or whatever. It's a socialistic healthcare system, right? Where you pay a tax and then you go to see a doctor and it's
Yeah.
quote unquote free,
Oh yeah.
right? The thing that is different in the United States than every other country in the world is two things. In Europe, in recent history, not so much anymore, but the United States has been dealing with this a lot longer. Is mass immigration into this country. We're taking in more of the third world than anybody, and homeless transients. I cannot the major. God, dude. And again, I don't know
God,
the actual
that word is so awful. Every time you say it, the transient. It's
the
like, oh, it hurts
transients,
me,
the
man.
homeless population.
Yeah, those are my people.
Oh God, I hope not.
Love those
It's
homeless, man.
they I- again, if you actually pulled up the data on a website,
Mm.
maybe you'll see something wrong, but maybe you won't. Is the amount of transients that end up in the hospital for nothing is insane.
So,
I'll come up to like especially when it's cold outside.
mm,
We'll get a 911 call. Oh, my foot hurts. I need to go to the hospital. It's like what? And they are literally just looking for a place to stay.
yeah, trying to take a nap, man.
Yeah, right. We call it emergency detentions. Somebody has a mental health crisis, they want to
Uh-huh.
hurt themselves or kill themselves or somebody else, whatever the case is, we put them on what we call police officer emergency detention. We take them to a hospital, right? To be watched and they talk to a social worker. And if a social worker says, "Hey, we think maybe inpatient would be good for you or further assistance, mental health
Yeah.
assistance would be good for you," great, we'll set you up with that. I cannot tell you how many transients are like, "Hey, I want to kill myself. You need to take me to the hospital." And I was like, "Wow, you know more about the system than I do. That's crazy." Um,
And so you have to by law,
if
right?
they say the right stuff,
Yeah.
I can
I
articulate.
might have to use this
Yeah,
so I can just
it's
get a free
crazy.
ride to the
Yeah, right. It's
hospital, man.
crazy. And the hospital gives them snacks. They give them food, a bed to
So
sleep in.
so government's paying for this, for
Yep,
them to have some
the
shelter,
the
have some
taxpayer.
food,
Yeah,
and how long do they get to have?
uh, hours.
That's it?
What do you mean? That's it? It's
Well,
it's
I mean, so they get some time off from the streets. They don't get to
yeah.
stay the night, is what you're saying.
Sometimes they do.
Okay.
So before you take somebody to a hospital, you have to call ahead and let
Okay.
them know you're bringing them.
Yeah.
Um,
Because you got to let them know they need a bed.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know how many times I hear, "Oh, we're full."
Ooh, that's a
It's
tough
more
blow.
it's more often than not. And now I'm just like, "Crap, what do I do with this guy?" Because in the off chance that I say, "Hey, you've done this 10 times within the last month," I don't think you're serious.
Yeah.
You let them out of their car, they walk into traffic and die. Now I'm going to jail.
No.
And so
Oh.
it's a liability thing for me.
Yeah.
And so and it has happened.
Don't be
It's
reckless.
right? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's very, very rare. There's a guy, he's a Russian kid.
Oh, I
He's a
love.
funny
Is his
dude.
name Vlad?
Yeah, actually it was. I'm
Dude,
not
no,
even
I no,
kidding.
I know. I like when I was
And
in Kyrgyzstan, like half of them
yeah, it's
were
crazy.
named Vlad. I
Yeah.
was like,
And
that's awesome.
so, dude, we were going out to his apartment
Mhm,
several times a week. He was
mhm.
an alcoholic. He was a US military veteran. Young kid. He's
Yeah.
like 21 or 22 years old.
Okay.
He actually got kicked out of the military for alcoholism and schizophrenia. I've talked to this guy a million times.
And he's from Russia. He
He's Russian, yeah.
he's Russian.
His background is Russian, but he's been in America for a long time.
Okay.
Maybe he was born here. I never really asked, but he had like a Russian accent. Like his first language was Russian.
Yeah.
But we took him to the hospital. God knows how many
Yeah.
times. Um, and one day, once again, he called. Hey, I'm wasted. I'm hearing
Yeah.
the voices in my head. I want to kill
Yeah.
myself.
Not even a
So,
привет, как
well,
дела?
yeah, right,
Хорошо?
dude. And his drink of choice was what?
Oh, vodka.
Vodka.
Vodka, baby.
Um,
Vodka.
so we took him to the hospital. He
Yeah.
started physically assaulting the nurses,
No.
and so the new, um,
He's an angry drunk.
oh yeah, not with us, but with people other than
Oh, so
police.
he knew who he could touch and who he
Yeah,
couldn't.
he well he knew he knew we were gonna fight back.
Yeah, yeah, that's
And
tough.
so the new policies for hospitals, at least in Austin, are hey, if they're getting physical with you, let them go. Because an emergency detention is you're not free to leave.
They do that at the schools too.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
right.
bad, man.
Which yeah, but at the same time, you got an adult. I
Yeah.
get it, mental health, all that stuff.
Mhm,
They're not in the right frame
mhm.
of mind. But at the same time, like how far are we willing to put the nurses and doctors at risk for somebody that is causing the problem in the first place? And again, if you have legitimate mental health problems, like I feel for you, dude. I really do,
Yeah,
and I want to help you, but I don't want a nurse to end up in a coma in an attempt to help.
yeah.
And so they let him go. And this specific hospital is right next to 183, one of the major highways in
Mhm.
Austin. Dude straight up ran into traffic and got annihilated by a truck.
Mm.
A million times we went out on this guy. A million times we ED'd him. And one day on an ED, he actually did it. I couldn't believe it. I wasn't there. I wasn't working that night.
Yeah.
But he actually did it. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. But my point is, in the off chance that somebody says, I want to kill myself, and you're like, come on, stop. No, you don't.
Yeah.
And then they do.
Yeah. You
The
just
whole the
yeah.
whole world. They're not gonna care that he has done it 1,000 times within the last month. The
Yeah.
whole world's gonna blame you. So for me, I don't want that liability. I'm
No,
just gonna
better
bite the
safe than
bullet.
sorry.
Exactly. I'm just gonna bite the bullet and take you to the friggin' hospital. But that is a huge reason that healthcare is such because that's how we started, right? Was healthcare.
Yeah, yeah.
That is why stuff is so freaking expensive. Is because you got these people that don't pay a cent. They don't have insurance. They don't have money. They pay nothing. Um,
Medicaid, man.
they don't have
Yeah.
it. And so the rest of us with insurance, rest of us with some
Yeah,
sort of money in
we're helping out.
yeah, helping
There's
out.
a tax included, I'm sure,
Exactly,
at some point.
exactly. And that is a huge you got all these people that these other countries don't have a problem with. Let's be honest, man. The United States has a mental health problem. And I can go into why I think that that
That's
is
our
why it is.
part 2.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of expenses that the United States deals with medically that all these other countries don't tolerate. Have you gone to have you ever been to, like, Sweden,
I haven't been to Sweden.
Norway? Like,
No, no,
they
no.
I'm sure they
Not
got
yet,
a
man.
homeless population,
They have to.
but I'm sure it's a fraction of what it is here. We tolerate homelessness at an insanely destructive level.
Yeah.
The way the United States deals with homelessness is throwing more money at it.
But it's only in the cities.
Well, yeah, that's where all
Okay,
the
and that but
that's where all the benefits are.
yeah, but that's interesting. That's still interesting.
Well,
That is an urban problem.
it's simply because that's where the benefits are. If you like Event, let's talk
Okay,
about
no, but
Event,
I
right?
mean, even like okay, Hamilton is a little bit bigger. There's a hospital.
Yeah,
There is no one homeless person that I've seen just
yeah.
hanging out in the street,
Well, I'm
and
sure
that's
there's
like
reasons.
it's
I'm
like
sure there's reasons for it.
10,000 people
Yeah.
maybe.
Well, I'm sure there's reasons for it. One, it's an area that is going to tolerate less
Oh man,
for
that
as
dude
far
is off the street. Yeah,
yeah,
like
like they're
tomorrow.
just
Yeah,
not going to
done.
tolerate it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that homelessness is a crime. It's not.
I okay, yeah. To your point, I think you're right. They are walk because they'll walk. I've seen them walk down 84. So from Gatesville to Event, and they'll just keep going. I think they're
Hmm.
going towards Liberty Hill because they'll
Yeah,
walk to Lampasas,
yeah,
and then they'll go up. Yeah. Oh
yeah.
wow, man,
But
that's
there's
crazy.
also you look at a town with 10,000 people. Like, how
Yeah,
many benefits do you think they're going to give? Like, there's no money there for it in the cities. So
they're
Austin.
allocated money for transients or
Oh my
homeless people.
god, dude! I dare say the budget for transients, that's the number one money taker in the city of Austin. The budget for homeless this past year was higher than APD's.
Mm,
It was
mm,
like $500 million just in
that's a
Austin.
lot of guacamole.
Yeah, a lot of guacamole.
Mm,
And so that's what I'm saying is that it's and I recently so the city of Austin, they're actually trying to tackle homelessness now to a point where it's like more aggressive. Back a few years ago, um, the city of Austin, the city council passed that transients can sleep anywhere they want. They can be in the middle of a sidewalk.
Austin.
Yep, in Austin, downtown
Oh
Austin.
Lord.
And I can't tell you how many calls we got saying, "Hey, this transient sleeping in front of my business." And we would show up, be like, "Hey, cool story. Has he committed a crime? Has he broken anything? And has he hurt anybody? No. Have a good day.
Yeah, because he's
Sorry."
not going inside. He's not bringing
Exactly.
entering.
To a point where the citizens of Austin started getting pissed off. As liberal of a city as Austin is, even they started saying, "Hey, something needs to be done here."
Yeah.
And we started tackling this to a point where it's like, "Hey, you need to go." They city reversed a lot of these ordinances, saying that transients now can't just sleep anywhere they want.
Mhm.
Bro, I cannot. So I work in Ida sector, what we call Ida sector, right?
Yeah.
Um, Huge homeless population
Mhm.
within Ida sector. It's bad. And they were just out in the open. It was like little shanty towns everywhere. We were living in a third world country in my area, in Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
It was outrageous.
So it's
And the
not
thing,
government housing. It's just
no, it's
shacks.
tents
Oh,
and
tent.
shanty towns. Like they just pitch a tent. And
Mm.
a lot of people think that, well, transients are not doing anything to anybody. They're not bothering anybody. Are you out of your mind? Dude, I can't tell you how many times I went to a transient camp because they assaulted some random person. They would try to kidnap a kid to do God knows what. They would stab each other, shoot each other, rape each other. It was crazy.
Mm.
And this isn't me like reading some article. Like I saw this stuff firsthand and it was awful. How many people I plugged with Narcan, which Narcan, if you don't know what that is, it reverses the effects of opioids. So if you overdose, you give somebody Narcan and it reverses the effect to a point where you can get them to the hospital.
Yeah.
Um, Dude, it was like I can't even explain it. It was the most dangerous place to be. They are not they are not harmless. They do a lot of bad, and they cost the city a lot of money without giving anything. It was all like I would talk to a bunch of them, and it
Mhm.
was always take, take, take. It was always
Well, yeah, they know the system.
yeah.
It's I mean, another culture.
Oh, it's
It's
crazy.
another culture.
Yeah,
You
it
know, they
truly is. And they were the most entitled people I've ever met in my life. I'd go to a 7-Eleven to warm my food,
yeah.
whatever. Um, and they would always do the same thing. It would be in the rudest, most aggressive way. Also, hey, buy me food.
Yep.
I'm
I've
hungry,
had that. Mhm.
and I would straight up tell them like, get a job and go buy food.
Oh, you
And
hit him
there's
with that?
oh
Oh,
my
man.
god, and there was nothing wrong with them. Like I've seen plenty of people with mental health.
Yeah.
Everybody's always bringing up, oh well, they got mental health problems. I'm sure they do. Like I'm not downplaying what they're going through. Everybody's got problems. Okay, they're conscious, they're aware enough to know, hey, I shouldn't have punched that guy in the face. Hey, I shouldn't have stabbed that dude. Hey, I shouldn't be doing X, Y, and Z. They're enough to understand like they could do something, they just don't want to. There was during COVID, the city of Austin bought up like 4 or 5 hotels. The city bought hotels. 2 of them were like nice
Yeah. Yeah,
hotels,
yeah, yeah.
and they bought them to house homeless, to house the homeless population. And it was crazy. So the city hired APD on a contract to work security for these places. So I worked a bunch of those. You can ask Jack. It was awesome. It was such an easy
Mhm.
moneymaker.
Yeah.
Um, but it didn't do anything for the homeless population. There's still a bunch of people out and about. And these hotels, I'm not playing, was like 20% to capacity. Like they were empty.
Yeah.
And I did something that a lot of people that try to defend transients, I did something that they don't do. I talked to transients
Yeah.
and I asked them why. What is
Mm.
going on? Why are you like you're always demanding shower? You're always demanding food. In these hotels, they offered 3 meals a day, showers, soap. Like they gave you everything, and we're
Mhm.
talking
Yeah.
100% on the taxpayer. And they said there was too many rules in these hotels, bro. There was 2 rules. Two: don't do drugs and don't rape each other. Those are the rules.
For some people, that's hard.
Oh, dude, yeah, that's swinging for
That
the
drug one
fence.
is hard,
Yeah,
man.
swinging for the fence, bro. They had a bowl. I'm not playing. In the lobby where we would sit,
Mhm.
they had a bowl of condoms. Okay,
Oh, jeez.
um, I was blown away by what I was seeing.
Yeah.
There is nothing incentivizing getting better.
No, that's not helping at all. Yeah.
No. and there was also boxes of Narcan. What I just explained to you, right?
Yeah.
If you overdose, hey, here's
No,
yeah,
that's bad.
we're enablers. We're
Oh my
just,
gosh.
hey, you got this bad habit. Let me give you a safe place to do this bad habit. It was crazy. It was crazy to see.
Have I ever told you about a place I worked with in Kyrgyzstan?
Mm-mm.
So there was I mean, they're everywhere, but they're called Teen Challenge. Have you ever heard of Teen Challenge?
Mm-mm.
So they take transients, homeless, off the street, and most of them had, well, people in Kyrgyzstan, like close to Russia, they drink, and then they drink
Yeah,
hard. When they drink, they drink. You
yeah.
know, drink till they pass out most of the time. And and this place was, for lack of a better word, like the most beautiful place I've ever seen. It was a 2-acre farm. They had I think it was 3 buildings, and they were like containers.
Mm.
Like our, 18-wheel containers, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And they renovated it, and they turned it into like the living quarters, and then I think, if I'm not mistaken, one of the buildings was like a cafeteria, but I mean, it looked like it was from, early 1900s.
Yeah.
It's like a barn, but it was great for them, and they would have Bible study, and they had, I think, I'm trying to remember exactly, but they had some animals. I think they had like 2 cows, a couple sheep, but they taught him a trade. And so, literally, shout out to Janish. If he ever listens to this, you're amazing, Janish. He's probably in the States now, but he was the leader over there working in Teen Challenge. There was like 12 guys. And so at a point, though, they get discipled, but then they start teaching the new people that come in. So it was very like systematic, and it's good because people need responsibility. But
Mm.
they taught them a trade, and the trade was they had a bee farm, and so they would sell honey to basically pay for, just for them to eat.
Yeah.
And in there, the money system's garbage. So they made the money, fast enough to where they could survive. And feeding 12 guys was pretty easy.
Mm.
But it was a self-sustaining place, and I think, man, I think if I ever got to that point to where I financially stable, I would create that. And
Yeah.
when I bought the land, that's what I envisioned to hopefully do at some point,
Yeah.
was to section off of it like a little bit and bring homeless on and like teach them how to be functional again, because they haven't been functional in decades,
Yeah.
you
Which
know?
which I think is great. That's completely different than what the city is trying to
Yeah,
do.
you have to be taught again. They're
Yeah.
basically like teenagers, I feel
Yeah.
like, mentally.
Mhm.
At least what I experienced when I was with them. Like, I tried, gosh, what was I think can't, I don't want to butcher his name. I'm never gonna meet him again, but he was in Kyrgyzstan, and I really tried for like 3 hours. I think it was Shabbat or Shamat or something like that. Not Shabbat. Gosh. Um, but I really tried to get him. He was like, there were like little 7-Elevens like on every corner. They called them magazines,
Mm.
and half of it's full with vodka. I mean, like, half of it's full of vodka, quarter of it's cigarettes, and then like little knickknack chocolates and stuff like that. Um, and he bought vodka and just basically drank so much in front of me while I'm talking to him about, like, hey man, I could take you to a place. They'll help you out, man. Like, you
Mhm.
don't have to bring anything with you. They will take care of you. And he is chugging a lug. I mean, just shot after shot after shot. He ends up puking everywhere, laying down. I mean, you've experienced this. I mean, they're just laying down. They're like incoherent. But I'm
Mhm.
really trying, and I'm young. I'm like 20 years old. I'm like, dude, come on, man. Like I will help you, and I will pay for everything. Back when I thought I was money bags.
Yeah.
And and I set him up. I was like, all you got to do is go home. Like, or I think, well, his home was like like a little shack he
Mhm.
found, in the middle of nowhere, like in the village. And I think Janish was gonna go like pick him up in the morning, and he wasn't there. That was the last time I saw him. But I, like, man, for, I mean, hours, just like trying to reach this guy. Because they're all sad stories of like how they got to that point. They're
Yeah.
all terribly sad. I mean, I'm sure you've had conversations like, how did you get from a
Mm,
kiddo, like with parents, to this. You
yeah,
have 5 teeth in your head. All you want is drugs and alcohol. Like
yeah.
something
I'm
horrible
sure.
happened.
Yeah, and again, I don't want to downplay what they've been through. I'm sure a lot of them have been through trauma.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but the problem that I have, and I've talked to so many, and
Mm-hmm.
the answer is always the same. Fixing the homeless problem, it's very, very difficult because an overwhelming majority of them choose that lifestyle. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like, well, they fell on bad times, which absolutely happens, but the system is there to a point where it's like, hey, they support me anyways, and there's no time limit. They
Yeah.
just they'll keep on giving me stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so like what you did, we're discussing that farm, right?
Yeah,
You're
not me.
giving.
That's him.
Or yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
Janice and his people. But
yeah,
I mean, I got to see it, and people got saved.
yeah.
Like it's crazy.
And, but
Like
that, but
changed
that's,
their life.
but that's the thing. So a huge part, right? And this is for any human being.
Yeah, yeah.
It's huge giving somebody a purpose,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the
Mm-hmm.
purpose on that farm was
Yeah,
to just work the farm.
yeah, yeah,
Instead, all these people in Austin, and I'm sure in every major city, it's like the same problems everywhere,
mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Is they have no purpose and no one incentivizes them
You
to
gotta
to
give them a
get a
purpose. Yeah,
purpose.
I agree.
I guarantee you, like, and because they're humans, right? We're all wired this way, where it's like we want purpose.
Yeah,
Everybody does.
yeah,
Um, but the city just keeps them just completely down in the gutter, and they do that by enabling us. So I'm sure there's a lot of homeless people out there that truly did fall on hard times, and they need help. And I am all about helping those people.
yeah.
Um, but a majority of them, and I'm not saying that lightly. It truly is a majority of them have simply chosen that lifestyle because they don't like rules, they don't like responsibility. It's just an easy lifestyle for them. And everybody, you got beggars, right? People that go to intersections to beg for money. People give them money, so
Yeah,
then they go to Whataburger
I know.
every couple hours, buy
I
food like
know.
they're not starving.
Yeah,
There's no incentive here. Um, and so they will continue living that life until they either die of an overdose or old age or somebody kills them. It happens all the time. I know, like, I know I sound super cutthroat about it. I don't mean to, but I've seen it so long that I am completely, um,
desensitized maybe,
desensitized. Yeah,
but you've seen the abuse of it.
yeah.
I mean, there is a lot of abuse, and it's been going on for at least since we've been alive.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know what it was like in the '80s, but I
Sure, the
mean,
same.
yeah,
But
and
I'm
that
sure I'm sure they were more cutthroat. I'm sure it was like,
I
they
don't
they
think it was
viewed.
as bad though in
Yeah,
the
well,
'80s.
exactly.
I
Like,
at least
because there wasn't as many benefits. There wasn't as much incentive to be homeless.
yeah.
I did 2 years in Japan when I was in the Navy. There was almost no homeless people out
Was it
there.
Atsugi? Were you at
No, no,
Atsugi?
no. I was at Sasebo,
Oh, okay.
Sasebo, Japan, on Kyushu Island. But there's almost no homeless people. There was one, I think, on the entire like
Yeah,
Kyushu
yeah.
Island. Um,
Tokyo, different story.
well, Tokyo guarantee has more, right?
Yeah.
But
Well,
I
yeah, per
guarantee you,
capita,
it's
yeah,
still less than
probably.
like not like the biggest city like Austin. I'm sure they
Mhm.
have less than we do.
Yeah.
And Tokyo's what, a freaking city of 10 million
Yeah, it
people,
seems like that.
and so they in Japan being homeless is like, I mean, you are an outcast.
Yeah, it's way more caste system,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like
it's
there's
very.
ultra rich, and
Hmm.
then there's a middle, and then there is a bottom.
Yeah, but everybody's striving to do something. If you are homeless, like,
Yeah.
you are a nobody.
Mhm.
You are, and I've saw it firsthand, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, they look at homeless people as absolute peasants. And as cutthroat as it is, I think that is a good driver to get out of that lifestyle. If we stopped feeding transients so much, if we stopped giving them medical so much, if we stop uh, if we stop them from abusing the system so much, they would have to do more for society. Hey, if you want to eat, let's go pick up trash from the side of the road. That way, we give you a purpose. You're
Yeah.
doing for some for society, and you get to eat.
Mhm.
I guarantee you, with the system in place right now, they wouldn't do it.
No. No, absolutely not.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
they don't care to do anything for society. Just feed me. Just give me my medicine.
Yeah.
Just do this and that. I'm going through a mental health crisis. I want to kill myself. Take me to the hospital because it's 30 degrees outside.
You have to remove that stimulus of
Exactly.
receiving
Yeah,
to
exactly.
do anything other than that,
Mhm.
like, so
A lot of people I've talked to so many people that view and you can stop this anytime you need to.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Um,
let's, yeah, you finish your thought.
so I'm just saying I've talked to so many people that believe giving a transient or a homeless person like a job is they literally use the word inhumane. It is inhumane for me to give them
It's
like
a
a
good bark.
purpose or something. Yeah, right. To give them a purpose to do something for society is inhumane. To get them to pick up trash from the side of the road is
Yeah.
inhumane.
We want people, I mean, we should at least want people to be independent and
Absolutely,
functional.
absolutely.
That's
That
the
is
goal of, I feel like, every human being, like
100%, man. That's the best thing you can do for them. Like, and I'm not even talking about doing something crazy. Just have them clean bathrooms. I don't know. Anything. Anything. Just
I
give them
still
a
think that,
purpose.
yeah, the farming, the labor, I think that's where it
It's
needs they need to
perfect.
be out in the sun.
Yeah.
They're already out in the sun.
Yeah,
Just
always.
give them a shovel,
Yeah,
man.
it's perfect. And that way they get to make food, they get
Yeah.
to make their own food,
Yes.
and there's a community. They have a
Yes.
community.
And then I think that was what I've never seen before is these guys all had a common ground. They understood
Mhm.
because they had the same background.
Exactly.
They all had the same struggle. And
Mhm.
so it wasn't, they didn't have to feel bad when they voiced it like, "Hey, I'm having a terrible day.
Yeah,
Like this is a
100%.
hard one."
Mhm.
You know? And I think they need that.
Yeah.
Like we need that. I mean, everybody needs that to
Yeah.
have somebody to be like, "Hey, this sucks right now."
Yeah. And the whole upbringing argument, like I get it. A lot of people have some pretty awful upbringings. My childhood was difficult. Um, but I just decided one day that I simply didn't want I wanted more than what my parents had. Uh, as far as like opportunity, I didn't have any. I was in high school. I joined the Navy immediately after I graduated. Uh, I learned a skill. I made some money. When I got back, I found out I was like, "Holy crap, college is free!" Like, I had no idea. I
They
didn't
didn't
know
tell
that.
you?
Didn't well,
That's
I never asked.
oh, that's funny.
I was one of the ones that joined the military. I believed in it. I truly
Yeah.
believed like I want to serve.
Yeah.
There wasn't some
A good
the
old seaman,
benefits.
man. You
Yeah,
ready
right.
to rock.
Yeah, right. The benefits wasn't the question that I had.
Yeah.
But when I got out, I was like, oh my god, I can go to a
Uh-huh.
public college and
Yeah.
government pays for it. I was like, that's too good. So I got a degree, went to a good school, and now I have a career. Now I got a family, I got a house. It really is that simple. You gotta if you have a purpose, you got a goal, figure out the goal and just kind of go for it. And we don't do any of that for these, for the transient population. We don't do any of that for them. We
That'd be
just
interesting if they like if you became homeless, the military steps in and says, "Hey, we'll hook you up." You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, man.
That
Because you if you give somebody a purpose, right? It takes 28 days to make a habit, right?
yeah, yeah.
You give somebody a purpose for 28 days, they get a taste of that. Holy crap, I got money in my
You're
account.
right.
This is addicting.
Dude, boot camp at
E-
8 weeks, that's
yeah,
perfect. Let's
exactly.
go.
Exactly.
I
And so
yeah,
and so that's what I'm saying, man.
yeah,
You give somebody a purpose for more than 28 days
yeah.
and they might like it.
They that would be
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
Hey, use some of that funding, man. That $6 trillion
Dude.
that's just out there. They're like,
Yeah.
where'd it go? We'll use that.
Yeah, no kidding, man. They wouldn't have to spend $550
No.
billion dollars on the transient population. It would go down. It wouldn't go up.
Mhm, mhm.
There's so much incentive to not do anything
Yeah,
nowadays. It's disgusting. And everybody thinks that that's the only way to deal with this problem. It's such a government way to think about it. Oh, we'll just throw more money at this. Like that'll
yeah,
make the situation better. How in the world do you figure that?
yeah.
You're gonna bring I there's so many transients that I talked to got driver's license or ID cards, not driver's license, but IDs from other states.
Yeah.
And I'll be like,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, right.
Yes.
And
They're
I'll
moving, dude.
exactly. And what they hear is, oh, Austin's got these hotels. Austin gives me food. Austin gives me this. Austin gives me that. Let me move there. And now all of a sudden we got this huge problem
Mhm.
that we need to put more money towards.
Yeah,
It's like, who thought of this?
yeah,
You know, to be a little more restrictive on the homeless population, in my opinion, is not uh It's not inhumane, it's actually very humane.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
you're giving them incentive to be better for themselves. You're not giving them a fish, you're teaching them how to fish, or at least at a bare minimum, you're giving them a reason to learn how to fish.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, this whole idea of like, oh, let's just throw more money at it. Like, what in the world? You're
Yeah.
telling me I got to pay taxes for that? It's crazy, man. And
It
and
is.
again, like this isn't just like my opinion. I've talked to
I
so
know.
many of them.
I know.
When the city had these hotels, 3 meals a day, condoms and Narcan down in the lobby, and they still weren't taking it because, oh God, we got two rules here: don't get high and don't rape each other. And they still weren't taking it. Like that for anybody that's like, oh no, we can't force these homeless people to do anything. You really think just doing the same thing is the solution here? It's like, dude,
No,
you
it
try
obviously hasn't worked for 50 years, so
right?
we
It's
gotta
made it
change it.
worse. It's made
Yeah.
it worse in 50 years.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I feel like it sucks. When I think about the government, whether at state, local, or federal levels, it's like, when you feel like you're smarter, like
Mhm.
all
Mhm.
you got to do is stop putting as much money towards the problem.
Yeah.
Like seriously, that's it. Make it a little harder, just a little more difficult for them, and you're gonna force them to do something different. Like
No, that makes the most
yeah,
sense.
it's
Yeah,
just
I think really, like, thinking about behavior terms, 'cause that's how I think, is removing the stimulus. That's
yeah,
obviously the stimulus. That's what they're driving for, is
hmm
they get all these perks.
yeah, it's crazy, man. And
Yeah.
like I said, so many people from other states, other cities, they hear about this and they're like,
Mhm.
"Well, shoot, man, why don't I go to Austin? It's not super cold that often,
Yeah.
And oh, and we also have like cold shelters when it gets that cold. So it's like,
It's the place to be,
dude,
man.
Austin.
Get ready. It's just
If
gonna
if
keep
if you want to live that life, man,
Yeah.
Austin's where it's at. And we
Uh,
incentivize it. We incentivize homelessness. We incentivize mediocrity.
mhm.
I can't stand that, and it's everywhere. It's the
Yeah.
same problem everywhere. So
Hey, we just hit a 3-hour mark.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes,
Dude,
I love
I really appreciate you
it.
doing
Yeah,
this.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been fun, dude.
Yeah.
I love having these conversations with you. It's
Yeah.
really been a good time.
Yeah, we'll do a part 2 probably soon.